night as well. And that definitely could make an impact on tonight's game, especially trying to move the ball through the air.
39 degrees right now here out at Washburn Rural, and it's only going to move to 36 basically by 9 and 10 o'clock. So you're going to be playing in the 30s. Haven't done much of that this year. And certainly Wednesday you had, 80-some degrees and 30-mile-an-hour winds, and it was that was Thursday. That was just yesterday, wasn't it? We were in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's crazy. It's fall in Kansas, I guess. But I think football players like this. The challenge is, as a quarterback, is the ball gets a little slick. When the weather gets cold, the ball's slicker. It's harder to catch. That's why Jake used those big receiver gloves, so they were just stick to his hands. He was good to go. Quarterbacks, I mean, that was kind of a new thing where the quarterbacks use gloves too as well sometimes, but it's not that cold. These guys get going. I think it's actually a pretty fun night. The challenge will be, besides the temperature, is we've got a pretty good north wind blowing. So I think, the wind can be a challenge. Field position, the special teams, punts, and those types of things can certainly be an issue. Right now, the wind's out of the north at 11 miles per hour. So that's left to right on this field. And so, wind can be a factor. Temperature obviously can be a factor just because you haven't played much at this time in cool temperatures.
Just getting ready for opening kickoff here as the two teams did the mock coin flip at midfield. And now we're getting ready to open this ball game off. It will be Seaman to kick it away. Washburn Rural with the toss. They decline, or defer, I should say. So Seaman will be kicking away. Seaman wearing the white Stormtrooper Star Wars style uniforms tonight. All white pants, jersey, and helmets. Red numerals, red lettering as well. Washburn Rural going with the royal blue look tonight. Royal blue for the pants and the jerseys. White numerals, white letters as well. The Washburn Rural logo on the helmet. They'll be returning the ball from south to north. That's right to left as you listen across your radio dial. Mark Elliott, let's get a real quick last key to the game for each of these two teams as we enter the first half.
Well, I think for Seaman, it's come out and say, hey, we pounded you guys week one. We're still the same team. We're 6-1. We know you're better, but we're still the supreme team here. So I think really the key for both teams is the start. Maybe it's the first quarter. I mean, if Rural can hang around and look like, hey, we can play with Seaman. We can handle that, because they certainly didn't do that in their 42-8 loss in week one. So it's an opportunity. So I think really the start to this game might be a key, because Rural doesn't need to be down, 20-0 at half. That's not going to work out well for the Junior Blues. So I think it's really the start, really, for both teams. So with the wind and the chilly conditions, Rural's got the first opportunity. See if you can move the football, but certainly don't go with 3 and out, have bad field position to give Seaman the ball at midfield. That's not the way to start the game.
The senior, Ike Pringle, getting ready to kick this ball away for Seaman. He will send it deep to Robbie Bolin and Josh Williams, who are parked back at their own 5-yard line, just in front of the south end zone. As the pregame clock has expired, we are just about ready to start the final week of the regular season for high school football here in the Sunflower State. Pringle puts his right arm in the air, approaches the ball, sends it away, and we are underway at Washburn Rural High School. It is a high kick by Pringle, flying into the end zone, out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Washburn Rural will start at its own 20-yard line tonight with senior quarterback Cooper Carlgren. He'll be protected up front from left to right by Bradley Schomer, Zach Franco, Uriel Soria, the all-league honorable mention, as well as Justin Vandervoort and Eric Schnurr. Bolin and Williams is starting receivers. Ty Weber is tight end. Lucas Hanks is H-back. Austin Fager and McKentis Adams will split carries for the Junior Blues in this ball game tonight. Now with 12 minutes on the clock here in the first quarter, first down and 10 for the Junior Blues from their own 20. Ball center between the hashes. Carlgren on an empty set gun. Takes a snap. It's quarterback power. The draw on first down angles off to his right. Gets just past the line of scrimmage before he's snowed under for a short gain, bringing up a second down and about 8 for the Junior Blues. On defense for Seaman, starting off this game, Kobe Jordan and Reed Cowan, the defensive ends. Kaysen Hazenkamp and Ewan Mills, the defensive tackles. At linebacker on the outside, Peyton Murray and Kaysen Stahlbomber. Nathan Zefferjohn and Braden Colley inside. Sean Hoffman's Camden Barta and Caden Heidenreich make up the secondary. Second down now for Washburn Rural. Snap to Carlgren, empty set again. Swings it out to the right side for his top receiver, Robbie Bolin, who makes the grab just beyond the 25-yard line on the far right sideline. Third down and manageable coming up now for the Junior Blues.
Yeah, Carlgren actually got 4 on the first carry. Empty backfield, 2 receivers to the right, 1 receiver to the left. Tight end went over to the short side of the field to the right, and then Carlgren ran it that way for 4. Just a quick out, and Bolin only picks up a yard. So 3rd and 5 for the Junior Blues here in their first possession.
Ball on the far right hash. Carlgren again. Set look, two receivers to the wide side left. Carlgren drops back. Pressure comes from his right side. He has to evade in that same direction. Turns up near the sideline, and he steps on the boundary for a short loss on the play.
Yeah, lost 3 back to the 22. Back to the 22. He just ran out of room. He had the ball was on the right hash. He rolls to the right hash. 2 receivers to that side. Didn't really see anything he liked. That's kind of an interesting situation there because typically if you need 5, you're going to have 1 receiver that's going to be about 8-7 yards down the field. Good coverage by Seaman. There's nowhere for Carlgren to throw the football.
No score after Washburn Rural's first possession of the game with 11:16 on the clock here in the first. Dayton Smoot back to punt it away into the wind. Rugby-style kick. Gets an end-over-end, turns into a sidewinder, bounces at the 43-yard line. It takes a slight Seaman bounce up to about the 41-yard line of Washburn Rural. A 19-yard punt by Dayton Smoot. And Seaman will take over with excellent field position early on in the first quarter, looking for the first points of the ballgame.
Oh, give him 20, Brendan. Come on. It's at the 42. 22 to the 42. Give him 20. But, yeah, that's what we talked about. Rural did not need a 3-and-out going into the wind and then giving the ball not only at midfield, giving it to Seaman at the Rural 42-yard line. Great opportunity right out of the gate for the Vikings.
Senior quarterback Reed Cowan in the gun on first down, and we've got a whistle for early movement on the first snap for Seaman, and it is a defensive penalty against Washburn Rural. So before even running a single official snap, the Vikings are going to move up 5 yards, now facing a first down and 5 from the Washburn Rural 37-yard line. Cowan joined on offense by Jordan Zahn, Braden Colley, and Kason Stahlbomber as top receivers. Stahlbomber and Peyton Murray, technically the wings. Nathan Zephyrdon starting fullback for this spread/wing T offense for Seaman, as we now have a first down and 5. Hand up the middle to the fullback. That's Zephyrdon. Takes it across the 35-yard line, just a little beyond the 34. In fact, they'll give him all the way to the 33-yard line. So it's a pickup of 4 on first down and 5, second and short coming up for the Vikings. Need to get you their offensive line, left to right, Tony Watkins, Jackson Thomas, Ewan Mills, Sean Miller, and then finished off by Kaylor Hazenkamp at right tackle. Now a second down and 1 for the Vikings. Ball in the near side right hash. Snap to Cowan, direct roll to the left, throws it underneath, completes a pass. Peyton Murray's got it inside the 25. He's wrangled out of bounds up near the 20-yard line. That's enough for a Seaman first down just on the fringes of the red zone.
Yeah, really nice play. Murray was the right wing, went in motion to the left, and then just ran a little out route. Nobody really there. Easy throw by Cowan. Nice pickup there for the first down. Now all the way down to the 22. So really nice strategy here for Seaman to get a penalty to start, run it for 4. You throw it for about 10, 12 more. Pretty good opening field position for Seaman.
First down and 10. Seaman's got it at the Washburn Rural 22-yard line, looking for the first points of the ball game. Now on first down, shotgun snap to Cowan, rolls right, throws to the near side. He completes it to Kason Stahlbomber, his leading receiver this season. He gets up to the 16-yard line. That's a pickup of 6 on first down and 10. Get you the starting defense for Washburn Rural up front. They're led by all-league honorable mention Eric Schnurr, along with Tuff Burnett and Tristan Botts. At the linebacker spots, Austin Fager, Kean Beasley, Ty Weber, and Connor Conklin. Then in the 4-man secondary, Landon McEwen and Davion Maltzby at corner. David Dean and Robbie Bolin, the starting Junior Blues safeties. 10:24 on the clock here in the first quarter. Still no score. Seaman on the move, though, after starting this possession with great field position. 2 backs in the backfield, a wing to the left. That wing goes in motion at Stahlbomber, spinning around. Cowan hands it off to the fullback, Zephyrdon, who just plows ahead and is going to get 5 yards. Feels like he just laid down immediately, and he picked up an easy 5. First down for Seaman, just outside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, great drive. You've got 2 runs by Zephyrdon, 4 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. You got the 2 easy throws for Cowan right on the money, and you get started at the 42 of Washburn Rural. You're mixing up the run and the pass, and it's really kind of fun when you watch Zephyrdon. When Cowan goes under center as opposed to shotgun, when he's under center, Zephyrdon is 1 yard behind him. So he's going to hit the hole really quick, and he picked up 4 down to the 12.
Yeah, they'll back it up 1 yard from the original spot. So first down and 10 for Seaman at the Washburn Rural 12-yard line. Cowan in the gun on the near hash. Looks left on the snap. Throws it underneath. Completes a pass to Stahlbomber, who's wide open inside the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Seaman Vikings. And Seaman, in just 2 minutes and 13 seconds, gets the first points of this ball game. They lead 6-0 over the home team, Washburn Rural Junior Blues, here in the first.
Yeah, not exactly what Washburn Rural wanted to do here early. I mean, Cowan's thrown the ball 3 times, all right on the money. Went for 11, went for 6, then goes for 12 to the touchdown to Stahlbomber. And Stahlbaumer is one of the key guys for Cowan. So Rural didn't even cover him. He was lined up in the left slot, basically, and just ran an out route. And Rural's defense got confused on the crossing route, never covered Stahlbaumer. Cowan, great read, right on the money, touchdown, Seaman.
Ike Pringle on, kicks the extra point up and good. And with that, 9:47 to go in the first. Seaman leads Washburn Rural 7-0. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
With so many apps out there, ever wonder which one is the best for news? It's iHeartRadio. Not because we say so, because you do. It's the only one with live radio, in-depth news, and an unlimited selection.
Quick ID, bringing you back.
All free. Listen to the radio or talk program created for views just like yours, all in one app. It's no wonder that iHeartRadio is the #1 rated radio app in America. All your favorite news.
Ike Pringle sends it away into the end zone for the second time in less than 2.5 minutes. Seaman following up its first touchdown drive and its first drive of the ball game, leading 7-0 over Washburn Rural. A 5-play drive that took just a minute 19, took him 42 yards into the end zone, and now the offense for Steve Bueller's Washburn Rural Junior Blues heads back out on the field, trailing by 7.
Yeah, not exactly the start Steve Bueller and Washburn Rural wanted. It was a gift right out of the gate start. The Seaman drive started at the 42-yard line after the 3-and-out, the punt into the 11-mile-per-hour wind. But then you factor in the temperature, so it's even the wind's even more of a factor in the kicking game. Now Rural's got to do something here early.
1st and 10 for the Junior Blues at their own 20-yard line. Read option by the quarterback, Cooper Carlgren, and he is wrangled in the backfield for a loss. Decides to keep it instead of handing it off to his tailback, Austin Fager, and he is dropped for a 3-yard loss on 1st down and 10. Great job up front by the Seaman defense to force the loss.
Yeah, so you fake it to the back, and the quarterback's hoping. And what Carlgren did there is he tried to bounce it outside. If he'd have kind of stayed in, say, between the right guard, right tackle, the B gap, might have an opportunity to pick up some yards. He tried to bounce it outside, couldn't get out there, lost 2.
2nd and long for the Junior Blues. Carlgren looks downfield, will keep it again. This time he's able to bounce off to the right side and gets back near the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard beyond that. Call it a gain of 3. 3rd down and long coming up for the Junior Blues, trailing by 7 with 9 on the clock in the first.
Yeah, and I don't think that was a designed run by the quarterback. That's the offensive line not giving him very much time. The pocket kind of crashed in a hurry. Carlgren just took off and got what he could, so he got it back. The 2 yards he lost, picked up an extra one, so now 3rd and 9. So Rural's had a 3rd and 5, did nothing on that play. Now they have a 3rd and 9, and they don't need to be giving this ball back to Seaman on their own territory again.
2 receivers wide left on 3rd down and long. Carlgren faces pressure immediately. He has to run around in the backfield, tries turning it upfield, and he's lucky to get back to the original line of scrimmage. The Seaman defensive line just punishing the offensive line of Washburn Rural so far in this one. Carlgren goes nowhere as he gets back to the 20-yard line, and a second straight 3-and-out punt for the Junior Blues.
Yes, as you said, Brandon, 2 3-and-outs for Seaman. They have run 5 running plays. They're all the quarterback Carlgren, and some obviously under duress. 5 carries for 1 yard. His 1 completion went to Bolin for 1 yard on the first possession. So they've got 6 plays and 2 yards of offense after 2 possessions.
Dayton Smoot punts it for the Junior Blues, and it hits a wall of wind up in the air, and this is going to be not even a 5-yard punt for Smoot. It went about 10 yards in the air, hit a stiff breeze, went down, bounced all the way back, and after the roll, it is officially a 3-yard punt for Washburn Rural. 1st down and 10 for Seaman now at the Washburn Rural 23-yard line.
Yeah, we talked about the start. Really, the first quarter is kind of a key. When you played, these 2 teams played in week 1, it was a 42-8 Seaman win. Seaman was up 42-0. Rural needed to get off to a good start. Obviously, that's not the case. So you think Seaman's got a great opportunity to get up a couple scores here early.
2 wide receivers to the wide side right on 1st down, and the 1st down play is a quarterback keeper on the read option by Reed Cowan. He plunges beyond the 20-yard line up to the 17. It's a gain of 6 on the 1st down keeper by the quarterback Cowan.
Yeah, nice run by Cowan. Really strong athlete that Reed is. And, boy, he broke some tackles right at the line of scrimmage. Didn't look like he was going to get much out of it. But instead, he broke some arm tackles and just kept on fighting and then picks up the 6 yards.
Ball just inside the far left hash as the Vikings move from left to right as you listen toward the south end zone. Already up 7-0 here in the first quarter, 7:15 on the clock in the period. Running back and 2 wide receivers to the right, along with an extra tackle on the line. Reed Cowan was going to run with it. You could tell right from the jump it was a quarterback draw, but he fumbles the snap and has to dive on it all the way back at the 25-yard line. That's a loss of 8 for the Vikings, a break for the Junior Blues. Now a 3rd down and long coming up for Seaman.
Yeah, and I think you're right, too. I think Reed was going to just run the quarterback draw, and he kind of he was kind of looking to see where he was going to go before he caught the ball. Not a bad snap, not perfect, but one that he would normally catch just off his right thigh. But he was looking to see where he was going to run without catching the ball, and then he just fell on it for that loss. So now 3rd and 11 for Seaman at the 24-yard line of Rural.
Officially a loss of 7 on the play. Now 2 wide receivers to the right. Zephyrjohn, the fullback, swings out left. Snap to Cowan. Looks deep down the left sideline. Going for the end zone. It's up and it's caught. Kaysen Stahlbomber. Left corner of the end zone. Play the fight song. Touchdown, Seaman Vikings. 6:22 to go here in the first quarter, and Seaman adds on to its lead already, up 13-0 over Washburn Rural.
Boy, perfect throw for that touchdown of 24 yards, right on the money on 3rd and 11. And you had Zephyrjohn, the fullback, run right like it was going to be a screen to the left. And so the Rural defense linebackers all came up, and it was one-on-one out there, and Cowan, a perfect throw. Stahlbomber beat his lone defender. A perfect throw by Cowan and 2 quick strikes by the Seaman Vikings.
Pringle good with the extra point again. Another drive that takes just over a minute, and the Seaman Vikings lead the Washburn Rural Junior Blues by a margin of 14-0. We'll take a break. Be back after this on the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
With United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans, there's so much to take advantage of, like $0 copays on primary care doctor visits and lab tests.
Wow.
Plus $0 copays on virtual visits.
Wow.
It's time to take advantage.
Wow.
To learn more, visit AdvantageWow.com. That's AdvantageWow.com.
Benefits vary by plan and area. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Wow.
With the $10 Tastemaker from Pizza Hut, I can get a large with up to 3 toppings, so I don't have to pick between them. Nope, don't need that stress in my life. Order yours online at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Prices and participation may vary. Extra charge for pan, stuffed crust, extra cheese, and more toppings.
This is time that matters. A window of time
to
love. Your preteen benefits from staying up to date with their well visits. This is your window of protection. Now, brought to you by Merck.
Following the second Seaman touchdown of the first quarter, a scoring update for you as well. We were corrected up here in the booth. It was Braden Colley, the tight end, who caught that touchdown. So my exuberance should have gone to the junior tight end instead of the wingback Stahlbomber. My apologies. Nonetheless,
already got a touchdown. You can't give him everyone, I guess.
Spreading around the wealth here in the first quarter with a 14-0 Seaman lead. Washburn Rural facing a 1st down and 10 from its own 20-yard line. It's a handoff this time on 1st down up the middle. Short gain for the Junior Blues. McKentis Adams with his first touch of the game. Gets about 2, maybe 3 yards on the carry, setting up a 2nd down and call it 7.
Yeah, the first ball carrier Rural has had 2 possessions, 6 plays, 2 yards of total offense. Carlgren's run it 5 times, a lot of times trying to throw it into rest. So that's the first run right there. So Adams picks up 3 on his first carry of the night.
5:53 on the clock in the first. Once again, an inside run. This time Carlgren fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, continues to just pound right up the middle, gets about 3 more yards up to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, in the box right now, it's really difficult, I think, for Rural to run the football. Seaman's got a lot of people up there. The corners aren't playing up. So you could go shotgun, just stand up, throw it to your wide receiver and say, okay, you're one-on-one, make the corner miss. So you do have some opportunities. Seaman's really clogged up that middle of this Rural offensive line.
3rd and medium for the Junior Blues. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Carlgren designed roll right now. He stops, turns back. Pressure comes immediately, and he is swallowed up again. This time leading the charge, it's Kaysen Hazenkamp, the sophomore defensive tackle for Seaman. Continuous pressure up front by the Vikings, and the Junior Blues on their 3rd drive of the game have their 3rd 3 and out of the game. 5:03 left in the first quarter.
Yeah, so you lose 5 on that play, so Carlgren goes back to now 7 carries for -1. And it's not the running game, it's the passing game. That was going to be a short roll, kind of roll and set up behind the right tackle, then throw back to the left. He had 2 receivers over there, and he had some people open. He just didn't have time. He ducked the first guy that came through and couldn't get rid of the next guy.
Smoot gets the punt away. This time it's a line driver. Best kick so far in this one. It's a low liner, takes a good bounce for Washburn Rural, and finally, Seaman's going to start in its own territory at the 44-yard line. So a good punt that time of 34 yards. Longest punt yet for Dayton Smoot. Worst field position out of 3 drives for Seaman, and they're still beyond their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, Rural started all 3 times at their own 20. And Seaman, of course, started their first 2 drives in rural territory. Had the 3-yard punt and then the 20-yard punt. So this is the worst field position, and it's their own 44. Rural's got to come up with something to slow down this Seaman offense.
First down and 10 for Seaman at the 44-yard line. It's a toss sweep outside to Nathan Zefferjohn, the fullback, who's got a hole, runs off tackle left, gets beyond midfield, continues to drag the pile along with him up near the 47-yard line.
Just a quick toss. Just an easy quick toss. You get the corner turned. When you run a quick toss, you can get the end sealed inside. Hard for the linebackers to catch up that quickly to your fullback that's already, as soon as the ball snapped, he's sprinting to the left. Cowan just turns and flips it to him, and you get the corner sealed. Nothing there. That's how you pick up 9 yards on first down.
2 wings and the fullback behind Cowan, who's under center on 2nd down and 1. Motion comes from Stahlbomers now into block on a screen pass to the outside, caught by Peyton Murray. Breaks a tackle at the 40-yard line, but he steps out of bounds right there. Gain of 7 on the little swing pass that time from Cowan to Murray. Second time he's caught a pass so far in this first quarter. That's now 3 straight completions, 4 straight completions.
5. He's 5 for 5.
Let's just keep counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how many that Cowan has so far in this one. 5 for 5 to open this game up. 1st and 10 for the Vikings from the Washburn Rural 40, and they're on the march again.
Yeah, Rural's just not really sure what to do because Seaman's running it and throwing it. They're really doing whatever they want to do.
Rocket toss going left to Murray this time. Gets the corner past the 40, passes the 35, gets beyond the 30-yard line. Peyton Murray racing all the way around the left end, and he's able to pick up another first down for the Vikings past the 30-yard line.
Yeah, so Murray and Stahlbomber as the wings get involved in the run game and the pass game, obviously. Murray, 2 catches for 18 yards, 11-yarder and a 7-yarder. And there he picks up a 12-yard run. And from the inside trying to get there, he just couldn't catch it.
We've got a timeout called by the defense for Washburn Rural. We'll take it with them. 14-0. Seaman leads in the first quarter. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
It's happening. In just days, Publishers Clearinghouse will be ready to award $1,000 a day for
1 minute.
.com, and you and your family could soon be celebrating the win of a lifetime. Don't miss your last chance to win $1,000 a day for life. Go to PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.com. Better?
Vitamin C. It's the only vitamin C with 24-hour immune support, and it lasts up to 2 times longer than regular vitamin C. So don't just settle for any vitamin C.
10.
Mr. C, and support your immune health today. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Welcome back to Bone Glaze Stadium in Southwest Topeka. Brendan Dworzinski, Mark Elliott, and Jake Laban alongside with you. 14-0. Seaman leads the home team, Washburn Rural. 3:54 to go in the first quarter, and Seaman is on the move again. First down and 10, ball in the far left hash from the Washburn Rural 28-yard line, moving from left to right as you listen. Reed Cowan, senior quarterback under center. He's got 2 wings, 1 on either side, fullback behind him. And now, how about a timeout called by Seaman? So the Junior Blues called the timeout, followed up by Seaman calling one. We'll keep it here with you. 3:54 to go in the first. Let's bring in the third member of our team, Jake Laban. And Jake, the conditions out there tonight, the environment around these players has definitely made an impact so far. The kicking game has really helped out Seaman get some good field position early on.
Couple the wind coming from the north, and it's a lot stronger than it feels at 11 miles an hour. But I'll tell you this, with a cold football and cold weather with the north wind, yeah, field position is going to be a huge factor. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Rural when they get the wind in the second quarter. Will they throw? We know Robbie Bolin can flat out fly. Will they put the ball in the air a lot more? Maybe Steve Bueller a little hesitant to throw the football here in this first quarter. So with 3:54 left, if the Rural can just hold on a little bit, we know that they can throw the football. Maybe that'll change in the second quarter.
The double wing look has been working out perfectly for Seaman so far on this drive. It started back at their own 44 in just 3 plays. They're inside the 30 of Washburn Rural, but they'll change the formation this time. 3 wide receivers to the wide side right, Cowan in the gun. Zephyr John flanks him to the right. It's a designed sprint out to the right and a pitch out to Zephyr John, who looks for the corner on the right sideline, gets past the 25 up near the 20, stays in bounds, gets brought down at about the 22-yard line. It's a gain of 6, setting up 2nd down and 4 for the Vikings.
Yeah, Zephyr John, 4 carries, 23 yards. And the option, Rural had it pretty well defended, but the end went after the quarterback, and you had 3 guys going after the quarterback, nobody after the pitchback. Zephyr John, an easy 6-yard run.
5th play of the drive coming up for Seaman, which will tie its longest drive of this first quarter. They've already had 3 of them. 3:18 on the clock in the period, already leading by 2 scores. Now 2 wings and the fullback in, 1 wide receiver to the right. Motion comes from Stahlbomber. It's a toss to the inside to Zephyr John. The fullback took a little wham play up the middle on the pitch, and he gains a 1st down and a whole lot more, all the way up to the 11-yard line, straight up the gut for 12.
Yeah, that's a really kind of a cool play right there, because you got the left half goes in motion. Cowan reverses out to throw the toss. You think it's going to the back end motion. Instead, it's the fullback who slid over kind of the tackle, catches it, and then runs off the left guard, and he started behind the right tackle. It's kind of a little counter trap play, except they did it off a toss look. That's a pretty cool play. And the linebackers for Rural certainly were running to the outside. Ball went back the other way on him.
A little wrinkle that time for Glenn O'Neill's offense. Now his Vikings facing 1st down and 10 from the 11-yard line. Cowan, again, will hand it off up the middle, and a good gain this time for the Vikings again, but it looked like a good gain initially, but they're actually going to get stopped after just a yard. Hole closed up quickly. 1-yard gain, setting up 2nd down and 9. The Vikings can get a 1st down without a touchdown on this drive at the 1-yard line.
Yeah, Seaman has done a great job mixing run and pass. Zephyr John's got 6 carries for 36 yards. Cowan's 5 of 5 for 60 yards. So they've really done a nice job mixing the run and the pass. In every series they have done that. You would think here Cowan's going to be under center. Zephyr John's right behind him.
Jordan Zahn, the only receiver in the formation. He's out to the left. Cowan now on 2nd down, rolls out, throws to the corner. He catches it. Catch on that play is Kason Stahlbomber, makes the grab. Got the name right this time, calling a play to Stahlbomber out on the outside. Gets down near the 6-yard line, so a pickup of 4 on the play. 3rd down and 5 coming up for the Vikings. 100 seconds to go in the first.
Yeah, that time Robbie Bolin, the really talented wide receiver, came up and made the play in the secondary there, and he was right on Stahlbomber. That was a really well-thrown ball by Cowan, because if it was a little bit behind him, that's a pick 6 for Bolin. And Bolin then couldn't get to the football, but he did make the tackle right after the catch.
2 receivers, a wing and a fullback on 3rd down and 5. At the toss sweep going around Stahlbomber. Looks for a block, tries cutting it up at the 5-yard line. Looks for a hole, prods his way through, gets down near the goal line. He's got enough for a 1st down, not quite a touchdown, but 1st and goal for the Vikings inside the 1-yard line.
Yeah, 5-yard pickup from the 6 down to the 1. 1st and goal for Seaman. And Stahlbomber, that's his first carry of the night. Stahlbomber, the 6'3", 190-pound junior, came in 35 carries for over 100 yards, 30 catches for over 500 yards. Stahlbomber's got 3 passes tonight for 22 yards, including the first score of the game, the 12-yard reception. So 1st and goal, Seaman can run it. They can throw it. And you would think it's probably Zephyr John's right out of the gate. You go up by 3 scores.
Under a minute to go, now under 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. Seaman up 14-0. They bring in a little extra beef. Kobe Jordan checks into the game on the end. Cowan under center. 1st and goal. So movement behind the line. No flag. Instead, the touchdown signal by the referees. Nathan Zephyr John plows ahead for 1 yard, and he extends the Seaman lead 20-0 over Washburn Rural. 38 seconds left in the opening period.
Yeah, total domination by Seaman. Field position had a lot to do with that. Seaman, Rural's offense can't really do anything. They've had 3 3-and-outs. They've run 9 plays for a total of 3 yards. So something's got to change. And Jake talked earlier about Rural's got to figure out how to throw the ball. Will they throw it maybe when the quarter changes, because we're 38 seconds left in the first quarter, so Seaman's had the wind at their back, and Seaman's mixed the pass and the run very efficiently. But Rural, Carlgren hasn't had any time to throw it, so you've got to give your quarterback some time if you're going to work on the passing game.
Ike Pringle knocks through another extra point. It's 21-0 Seaman. We'll take one more break here with you. 38 seconds to go in the first quarter. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
I get asked about college a lot.
to my super twig port for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper let
Rock Focus lied.
Where were you, Jill?
Kick
We
it out of the
went
end
to
zone,
the
so it doesn't
forest.
matter.
It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take
In the first quarter, Seaman with a 21-0 lead over Washburn Rural. Junior Blues will get the ball back here as Ike Pringle steps into the kick, sends it away, and it is going to bounce 5 yards deep in the end zone. And for the fourth time in as many tries, Ike Pringle has a touchback and a kickoff, and the Junior Blues will once again start at their own 20-yard line.
Seaman right now has 53 yards of rushing offense, 64 yards through the air. Compare that to, I think I said Rural has, 4 yards of offense. No, they have 3 yards of offense in their 9 plays. So Rural's got to figure out something, some way to get Carlgren a little bit of time, whether you just stand up and throw it to one of your receivers because they're not playing tight man-to-man. You got an opportunity, but your quarterback's had no time to throw it in the pocket.
First and 2 running backs in the formation. Carlgren throws it to the outside, looking for Robbie Bolin, who gets both hands on it at the 25-yard line, but he's hit from behind. It pops out incomplete. Carlgren that time goes to the air, throws a strike to Bolin, his top receiver, but it all goes for naught and an incomplete pass. 33 seconds left in the first.
Yeah, just a quick slant to your best receiver in Bolin. Good throw by Carlgren. And that's what I was talking about. If you don't have time, then you got to figure out how to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand quicker. They did it on a slant, and then a good hit by Seaman that Bolin couldn't hang on to it. That's the cold weather right there that they haven't been practicing in.
Second down and 10, inside give, Austin Fager. He's got a hold, bounces from the middle out to the left, is able to dive ahead to the 31-yard line. An 11-yard gain by Austin Fager. That puts him at 187 yards on the season on the ground on his 60th carry. And he is able to pick up the first down of the game for Washburn Rural.
Yeah, and a really great read by Fager, too, because he was kind of angling towards the right side of the offensive line, and Seaman just had rolled with that whole motion of the line and everything. And then he cut back and came back to the left, basically off the left tackle. Great run. Biggest play the Royals had. 11-yard run by Fager gives them their first down of this first quarter.
3 seconds on the game clock, and Washburn Rural races to get one more playoff. It's an inside give from the shotgun. Again, Fager. He may have gotten a yard beyond the line of scrimmage, and that's all. And that is how the first quarter comes to the close. All Seaman Vikings so far, leading Washburn Rural by a margin of 21-0. We'll be back with the second quarter after this. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
I get a lot of questions about, can you treat backs?
Welcome back to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW. Brendan Dworzinski and Mark Elliott in the booth with you. Jake Laban, our field reporter. Start of the second quarter. Seaman on defense, already up 21-0. Washburn Rural, though, just picked up its first down of the game. Now with the ball in the far left hash, facing a 2nd down and 9 after a short run. It's another slant pass. It's Robbie Bolin who makes the snag up at the 39-yard line and gets hammered out there after he makes the grab. Caden Ireland in coverage laid the wood after a pickup of 8 yards.
Yeah, really good throw. It's what we saw right towards the end of the first quarter. Bolin couldn't hang on to that one, and he took a hit. He said, I might as well catch it. They're going to hit me anyway. So really good catch there.
Rural races back to the line. Hard count by the quarterback, Carlgren, and he gets the defensive line to jump. It was Case and Hazenkamp, among others, who crossed into the neutral zone, and that's a free first down for the Junior Blues. 24 seconds into this second quarter, trailing by 3 scores, but the Junior Blues moving it for the first time in this game, now with a 1st and 10 up to their own 44-yard line.
Yeah, and their 4 possessions have all started at their own 20 as Seaman's kicked it out of the end zone every time. And so field position has not been Rural's favorite.
Jet motion from Josh Williams just to throw a block on what's an inside give to Austin Fager, who carries a defender with him past the 45 up to the 48-yard line. A pickup of 4 for Austin Fager, running hard so far in this first half.
Yeah, that was a strong run by Austin. 5'10", 185-pound junior. He had a lot of motion, moving, people going different directions. And Seaman's defense is so attack mode right now. You're going to have to do the quick stand-up throws to Bolin. They've tried two slant passes to Bolin. But you can throw screens. You got to do something to try to slow down this Seaman rush.
2 receivers to the wide side right, first down and 10. Carlgren wants to go left. Pressure comes. He keeps it and is going to gain a couple yards on the keeper. More of a scramble than a designed keeper, but still a gain of 2 yards to set up a third down and medium. Call it 3rd and 4. The line to gain is the Seaman 46. Junior Blues have not crossed into Seaman territory tonight.
Yeah, so when Carlgren catches snap, he's maybe, 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And when he drops, he's only going maybe 3 more yards. So he doesn't get a lot of depth. Seaman's really bringing a lot of pressure. So the pocket's just crumbling in a heartbeat around him.
Carlgren takes a snap. Deep drop this time. Pressure comes. Throws it underneath. He's picked off. Throws it right to the defensive lineman. It's Ewan Mills all the way home. Play the fight song. Touchdown Vikings.
Well, we talked about the screen. That was the screen right there. And then he's getting hit, so the ball didn't go where he wanted to. And that turns into an interception, touchdown. A good call. Just too much pressure and couldn't get, so I think Carlgren would like to have that one back. He just didn't get enough on it because he got hit as he threw it, and the ball came up about 5 yards short of his intended target because the guy he was trying to throw was about 5 yards down the line from where that lineman caught it for Seaman.
7 plays, longest drive of the game for the Junior Blues, and it all ends in a defensive touchdown for Seaman that now leads 27-0. Ike Pringle on, kicking into the wind for the first time for the extra point. Snap is good, hold is good, the kick is up, and the kick is good as well. 28-0, Seaman leads Washburn Rural early in the second quarter. We'll take a break. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
Services performed by other attorneys. I'm a paid non-attorney spokesperson.
10-10 to go in the second quarter on our Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week. Seaman with a 28-0 lead over Washburn Rural following an interception return touchdown by senior defensive lineman Ewan Mills. First kickoff that can be returned for the Junior Blues. It's fielded at the 16-yard line, racing around to the outside. Washburn Rural is going to end up with phenomenal field position. A return that takes the Junior Blues all the way up to the 44-yard line. Landon McEwen with the return, sprinting up the sideline for the big gain.
Yeah, really pretty good kick by Pringle. Got it all the way to about the 14-yard line, kicked it up in the air, so you give your chance, for your cover team to get down there. But McEwen gets it and took it right to the side and got a really nice little lane back there. So Rural has their best field position all night long, starting at their own 44.
McEwen back in there as a wide receiver to the short side right, ball in the near right hash for the first down and 10 for the Junior Blues. McKentis Adams in the backfield. He takes the carry on first down, passes the 45, and is eventually rolled up and thrown to the ground. Nathan Zephyrjohn and Kason Hazenkamp in on the stop, among others. It's a gain of 2, maybe 3 yards with a favorable spot for McKentis Adams.
Yeah, so here's the deal. Rural's just got to try to figure out. They had a little bit going. They got a couple first downs in their last possession until you try to the screen on third down and gets intercepted. Just because, again, a lot of pressure on Carlgren, and he did get the ball over the defensive end at Mills, and that resulted in the 40-yard interception for a touchdown.
2 receivers stacked to the short side right. Now jet motion from Josh Williams to the left. It's a pitch outside. McKentis Adams runs to the left, looking for a block. He's not going to get one, and here comes a convoy of defenders. A whole group of Vikings are able to take down Adams in the backfield, back near the original line of scrimmage on this drive.
Yeah, Adams, just a sophomore, 5'8", 180-pounder, 306, 17 yards. coming in. Now with the 3-yard loss, he's got exactly 320 yards rushing this year. But the young sophomore there kind of lollygagged it a little bit, kind of trying to pick and choose where he's going. That's a toss. You bust it. Get out there hard. And then when you're running full speed, you can make a cut. Instead, he kind of tippy-toed, and it gave Seaman all the time in the world to get in there and cause that 3-yard loss.
Nose of the ball back to the 44-yard line. Adams a little bit slow on the play. Jake LeBon, were you able to see what might have happened on the tackle to the running back Adams?
It looks like a left ankle when he got brought down because, again, he did get out there a little slow, and that allowed the linebacker in the pursuit to come, and you saw, 4 or 5 different Seaman Vikings end up tackling him near the line of scrimmage. I believe it is a left ankle injury.
He heads off to the sideline, is able to walk off under his own power with a slight limp. 9 minutes even on the clock here in the first half. Washburn Rural facing a 3rd down and 10 at its own 44, trailing 28-0 against Seaman. 3 wide receivers to the wide side right, short receiver to the left. Snap to Carlgren in the gun, 3-step drop, now they'll roll to the right. Looking deep down the field, throws across his body, back over the middle, looking for McEwen, and he's picked off instead. The free safety, Camden Barta, off the tip. He takes it away, and the Vikings have a pick for the 2nd drive in a row.
Boy, that was really a pretty good effort by Carlgren. Little short roll to the right, 3 receivers to the right, and then you had the receivers going across the field, and McEwen reached up with his right hand. The problem was you had 2 rural receivers within 4 yards of each other. So McEwen beat the guy defending him, but it was a little high. He deflects it with his right hand reaching up, and the defensive back for Seaman that's guarding the other rural receiver is the one that gets the interception, which was Barta. So good effort by Carlgren, just not going rural's way at all here in this first half.
3 receivers left on 1st down and 10 for the Seaman Vikings. It's an option play for the quarterback. Reed Cowan decides to keep it instead of pitching it. He turns up the middle and is able to gain 2 yards on the 1st down carry. Real quick again, Mark, this Seaman defense, they are making this night miserable for Cooper Carlgren. And once again, defense and special teams setting up great field position for the Vikings.
Yeah. You got 2 interceptions. You started, the first drive at the rural 42. The next one starts at the rural 22. The worst field position was their own 44, I think, and they scored all 3 of those, and you got an interception for touchdown, another interception. Seaman is just taking it to rural right now, and rural can't figure out how to slow him down at all.
2 receivers right, wing to the left. Now that wing goes in motion. It's Stahlbomber. Cowan again, option look to the right. He tosses it out late and gives it to his man. That's Ireland. And Caden Ireland, sprinting along the far right sideline, is able to gain a 1st down and more, carrying it all the way up to the 45-yard line of Washburn Rural. Caden Ireland doesn't have a ton of touches on the year, but a couple of times he's made big splash plays. That was one of them right there.
Yeah, and he got the corner turned, and then you pitch it out there, and he just showed a little bit of speed at Ireland to take it all the way down to the 45-yard line of Washburn Rural.
Good game.
So what was that, 18? No.
Gain of 12 on the play.
Yeah.
1st down and 10 now for Seaman from the 45. Another option. Cowan looking left, holding it as long as he can. Late toss to the outside. Gives it off to Ireland, who has to reach up high for it. Cowan held that ball for an eternity before Ireland eventually catches it and is thrown out of bounds up at the 41-yard line for a gain of 4.
Yeah, good effort by Ireland there, because that's not exactly how you want your quarterback to run the option. He just kept stringing it out. Rural did a nice job. Cowan never really had a place to turn it up, but he didn't really have the option to pitch because Ireland was pretty well covered as well. Finally, as a quarterback that's smart, Brendan, when it looks like there's nowhere to go, let the running back get hit. Don't let the quarterback get hit.
Under 7.5 to go in the first half. 2nd down for Seaman. Reed Cowan roll out. Get incomplete. Throwing it deep down the field. He was looking for P.J. Vargas, and for the first time, an incomplete pass thrown by the senior Cowan. That brings up a 3rd down and 6 for Seaman from the Washburn Rural 41-yard line. Vikings are already up 28-0. 7:19 on the clock in the opening half.
Yeah, and Cowan read it really well. He had Vargas on a little curl route right at the 1st down marker at the rural 35-yard line. But again, he's now throwing it into the wind. The first quarter, he's throwing it downwind. And so when you throw it downwind, the ball tends to sail. And if you're throwing a short pass where you're putting the zip on it, the ball can tend to nose to the ground, and that's what that one did. He had his man. He just underthrew it.
3 receivers right, 1 to the short side left. Zephyr John in the backfield. Cowan takes a snap, rolls right, throws, completes it out past the 1st down marker. It's Murray. Murray's got it, and he's dragged down at the 30-yard line. A pickup of 11 yards on 3rd down and 6. A great find by Cowan on the right side of the field. 1st down Vikings. They continue to churn up yardage.
So Murray's 3rd catch of this first half, 29 yards. 7 for 8 is Cowan for 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. That was a really good throw. You throw the little out route to Murray. Murray then cuts it back up inside to pick up about 5 extra yards. So really nice throw by Cowan. Cowan, unlike Carlgren, Cowan's got really a lot of time to decide what he wants to do with the football. Rural not able to get any pressure on him at all because they're running the ball well. And then the pass game is kind of looks like the run game. And then Cowan's been really accurate tonight.
6:40 on the clock in the second quarter. 2 wide receivers tight to the left, a wing and a running back right. Now that wing, Murray goes in motion. Cowan, quarterback keeper, angles a run to the right, fights up near the 25-yard line, continues to plow through defenders up near the 20. Reed Cowan, a physical run by the quarterback. He's able to drag defenders with him for a gain of 9 up to the Junior Blues 21.
Yeah, it looked like about a 5-yard pickup, and all of a sudden the whole pile moved another 4 yards. So second down and 1 for Seaman at the 21-yard line of Rural, 28 zip, Seaman on top. And we talked about the key to this game for Rural was just hanging around, but field position early, 3 and outs, 3 scores answered by Seaman. Down 21-0, you get an interception for a touchdown. It's just gone the wrong way for Rural. So Seaman here just wants to keep on going.
2nd and 1, wing tee to the right. It's an inside give to Nathan Zephyrdon, the fullback, who will plunge ahead. Gets up to the 17-yard line. That's enough for 4 yards, which will move the sticks. First down, Seaman, already up 4 touchdowns with 5:48 left in the first half.
Yeah, so if you're Seaman, you think, you know what, we're going to play this first half out, and then we might give our starters a third quarter, some of it, but you're also getting ready for the playoffs. Seaman would like, you talked earlier, the point differential plays a little bit of a factor, but does it for Seaman, does it, or is it for Rural?
It will not. Number 1 seed, no matter what, for Seaman if the Vikings win tonight. Now they've got a first down and 10 from the Washburn Rural 17. Sweep give, Stallbomber bounces outside. Nice ankle tackle by Ty Weber up at the 15-yard line. It's a pickup of just 2 for Stallbomber. Weber went low, wrapped up the ankles, and recorded the tackle. That's a phenomenal play by the sophomore. Former All-State honorable mention, Ty Weber.
Yeah, so my point is that Seaman, they want to keep going this half, but they're not going to give their guys an opportunity to get hurt and play a lot of guys. Rural trying to get some momentum in this game, but Seaman's not just letting the foot off the gas. They just keep going.
Cowan drops back, 2nd and long, throws for the end zone, looking for Jordan Zahn, and he just overshoots him in the back of the end zone. The safety, Bolin, was in coverage. A little more touch on the pass, and maybe that's another score for the Vikings. Instead, just the 2nd incompletion of the game, 2nd of this drive for Reed Cowan, bringing up a 3rd down and a long 8 yards for Seaman. 4:48 to go until the break.
Yeah, really nice play call because Cowan rolls to the left, ball's on the right hash. You got 3 receivers to the left, one's in the flat, one's kind of to the 10-yard line across the middle of the field. Then you run the corner route behind all of that. And Cowan, perfect read, and then said, well, I'm going into the wind. I better give it just a little extra. He threw a perfect spiral that whistled right through it about 2 yards too far.
Snap to Cowan, looking left on 3rd down, throws it underneath into the wind. Connor Conklin, the linebacker, dropping in coverage, may have gotten a finger on it. The ball bounces shy of the target, Caden Heidenreich. And it is, Braden Colley was out there. My apologies to Braden Colley. You've missed his number twice now in this first half. He'll get his flowers at some point, but for right now, with 4:44 to go until the halftime break, 4th down and 8 for Seaman.
We'll see Pringle, 32-yarder, ball's at the 15, snap it to the 22. Into the wind, but boy, Pringle drilled the extra point that he's had in this second quarter into the wind. He's got a real strong leg, senior, really does a nice job. Every one of the kicks into the end zone when he went downwind.
Pringle getting ready for the field goal attempt, held by the backup quarterback, Barta. Pringle steps into it, end over end, a line drive kick, and he misses it just to the right of the uprights.
Boy, he didn't think he did because he's like, what? That was right over the top of it. That was a great hold by Barta because that snap was off the mark. Barta had to come up out of his stance, catch it, put it down, so it might have messed the timing up just a little bit, and Pringle pulled it just a tad. He thought it was pretty close, but they say no good.
A drive that takes up 4 minutes and 6 seconds off the clock. Now 4:38 to play. Remains 28-0 Seaman, and credit that as a win for Washburn Rural's defense to not give up any points on that drive. Now they take over. Ball on the far left hash, moving from left to right as you listen. Junior Blues have it at their own 20-yard line. Cooper Carlgren in the pistol, 2 wide receivers right. It's a toss play looking for Adams, and Adams breaks out of a tackle and eventually goes down on his second effort.
Yeah, great effort by Adams, but his second effort lost him a couple more yards is what it did. But a heck of an effort because he got hit right after the toss and spun out of that one, but he kind of couldn't keep his balance and then fell. So ends up losing, 7 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards back to the 13.
A big loss. Ewan Mills, who's had a huge second quarter, already has a pick 6 in this game and then forces the loss of 7 on the play. Second down and 17 now as we approach 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Carlgren again in the pistol. 2-by-2 set with his receivers. Carlgren waits for the snap, takes it, 3-step drop, looks downfield. Now he's going to keep it. He's got one man to beat in the open field, and he almost gets by the linebacker. That's Colley, who is able to wrap him up and record the tackle. But first, Carlgren gets out just beyond the 20-yard line by about a half a yard. That's the original line of scrimmage. Call it a gain favorably of 8 yards. That time for Carlgren. Still a 3rd and long, though, for the Junior Blues.
Yeah, so again, trying to throw the ball is rural, and Carlgren doesn't have a lot of time. And he saw a little gap, and he just took it, get it back just past the original line of scrimmage. 3rd
and long for the Junior Blues. Lucas Hanks switches from right to left on the line. Ball centered between the hashes. Now motion, jet style from Josh Williams. Carlgren back 3 steps. Now he's looking. He's going to keep this one, looking for a hole to run through, and he is swallowed up by a group of Vikings defenders. It's short gain up to the 24-yard line, so a pickup of 3, but on 3rd down and 10, that's not nearly enough, and another punt coming for the Junior Blues. It will be their 4th in the first half.
Yeah, so Carlgren turns to fake it to the running back. We got a timeout on the field with 2:47 to go, so it was kind of a messed up situation there. Carlgren turns, no running back there. Adams went to the flat like a little screen pass. The other guy was in motion went the other way, so nobody was there, and Carlgren kind of gave up on the play right away.
4th punt coming for Washburn Rural. Junior Blues trail 28-0 against the Seaman Vikings. And Jake LeBon up front so far. It has been complete domination by the defensive line of the Seaman Vikings.
That's the one thing that stands out in this game. We know Reed Cowan, we know Zephyr John and Hawley and all that, but it is the guys up front. The most impressive is the Seaman defensive line. Mark, you are correct. There is no room at all for Carlgren. He drops back to pass. He's almost, unless it's a slant route, which is a 3-step drop, he has no time right now. The Seaman defensive front, give them the game ball in this first half.
Yeah, I would say, what do you say, Jake? Maybe an average of maybe 1,001, 1,002. The ball better be gone or you're
yeah, if that. It's impressive.
2:47 to go when the timeout was called. Dayton Smoot on to punt. Favorable wind for the first time on his 4th punt of the game. Gets a snap right into the chest, steps into it. It's a high kick, but he doesn't get much on it. It's a shank, and then it takes a Seaman bounce as well, out of bounds right at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, so Seaman takes the timeout because, all right, we got 3 timeouts left. Let's give us a little bit more time on offense. We know the Rural could hit a good punt downwind, but that's okay. It gives us more offensive time. Then Rural does not hit a good punt. Ball at 16-yarder to the 40-yard line. So Seaman, for what, the 4th time in this first half will start? No, 3rd time in Seaman or in Rural territory. Yeah.
3rd time.
5. Yeah.
3 times. 40 of the Junior Blues. Now they've got a 1st down and 10, already up by 4 touchdowns. 1 wide receiver to the short side left, 3 to the right. The running back, Zephyr John, flanking the quarterback Cowan on the left side. Cowan, 3-step drop out of the gun, looking left the entire way on 1st down, throws, completes the pass to Jordan Zahn up near the 30, breaks 1 tackle and fights his way up to the 29-yard line.
Just
Jordan Zahn for 11.
Yeah, just a little hook pattern, basically. Not an out, just Zahn just runs down and turns to the inside. Cowan puts it right on the money. Reed's really been accurate tonight. He's, 9 of 11 tonight. Give him a lady 6 yards passing, and, of course, has those 2 first-quarter touchdown passes.
Zahn heads to the sideline, replaced by P.J. Vargas, who's the tight receiver to the left. That's still the short side of the field. Trips to the right. Zephyr John still in the backfield with Cowan in the gun. Cowan drops back, looking left again, looking for Vargas. Vargas makes a nice toe drag catch at the 19-yard line. A pickup of 10 right at the line to gain. P.J. Vargas with a late break on his comeback route makes the snag on the sideline for a 10-yard gain on a 1st.
And if you're Glenn O'Neill of Seaman, this is a great opportunity to work on that 2-minute offense. You got, you start on the 40, which is better than you were hoping for when Rural was putting downwind. But now you got an opportunity to work on something in a game situation before you head into the playoffs. So you're trying to, they really don't have to go this fast. They got plenty of time. They still got a couple timeouts. They can run the ball. They can do whatever they want to. Or they got one timeout left, I guess.
Exact same formation for Seaman. 1st and 10 from the 19. Throw underneath. He misses his target. Stallbomber is who Cowan was looking for. Connor Conklin, the linebacker in coverage, may have had a better play on that ball than the receiver did. Incomplete pass thrown by Cowan. 2 for 3 on this drive that started at the Washburn Rural 40. Now at the 19, 2nd and 10 coming up for the Vikings, who already lead 28-0, just 2:04 before the halftime break.
Yeah, the 2 completions for 11 and 10, so you stop the clock every time. So there's still 2:04. Clock stopped here before half.
2x2 set on 2nd down and 10. Ball on the near left hash. Zephyr goes in motion. It's a swing pass out to him on the right side. He's got some room to run. Past the 20, and he slips down just ahead of the 17. Give him the 16-yard line with the spot. It's a pickup of 3 for Zephyr. He ran into a wall quickly, and he ends up sliding down to the turf with a bit of a slip.
But a pretty nice play. You got a couple receivers out there. The fullback just swings out. You just dump it to him as a quarterback and say, okay, Nathan, let's see if you can make some people miss. And when he made the cut, his feet just went right out from underneath him. He wasn't going to pick up much more than the 3 that he did pick up on that play. Might have got 4 or 5 if he'd have been able to maintain his balance. But now you got a big 3rd down. Clock's running under a minute 30 here in the half. 3rd down and 6 to go at the 16-yard line of Rural.
Trips receivers to the wide side left. Once again, Cowan in the gun with a minute 20 on the clock. It's a designed roll to the left. Cowan looking deep. Now he's going to keep it. Turns upfield. Gets to the 10. Puts his right shoulder into a defender, and he goes down inside the 10-yard line. Ball may have popped out late, but Cowan's right back on top of it after running for a 1st down. 1st and goal, Vikings, 70 seconds left in the first half of the 8.
Yeah, give him 8 yards, 16 down to the 8. Nice run by Cowan. You got a roll out to the left. They sealed the end. So Reed had everything in front of him, and then his receivers were down inside the 5. He thought, okay, well, I only need 8 yards here. I'm just going to run this baby. And he took a hit, but you got 1st and goal now for Seaman.
1st and goal, option toss to the outside. Zephyr got it. Turned back upfield. Finds a hole over the middle. Play the fight song. Touchdown, Vikings. 51 seconds on the clock in the 2nd quarter. 34-0. Seaman pouring it on against Washburn Rural in the first half.
Just a toss, and really, Cowan didn't even wait for anybody to make him toss it. He goes, there's nobody out there to stop our pitch guy because you had secondary, was who was running after Zephyr. He caught it, said, okay, the corners are out there towards the outside. I guess I'll just cut it up to the inside. Virtually runs it in from 8 yards out and barely got touched.
Ike Pringle on for the extra point. Good snap this time. Good hold. The kick is up. This time it is through the post for Ike Pringle. 51 seconds left until halftime. It has been all Seaman so far by a margin of 35-0. And Mark, if you want an example of how dominant this Seaman team has been tonight, that touchdown drive was the 2nd longest of the game time-wise. It took a grand total of 1:49 off the clock.
Yeah, Seaman's had great field position. And I think really kind of the unsung hero, Brendan, in his first half is Pringle, the kicker. Every time he kicked off in the first quarter, he kicked it out of the end zone. Rural started at the 20, and then Seaman's defense gave up nothing. So it's 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And so you're down 21-0 by the time you get it to the 4th time. Seaman O'Neill's going to tell his kids, look, we beat them 42-8 week 1, but they're a much better football team than we saw in week 1. We got to get out and show them that we're still a better football team. And boy, did they come right out of the gate and just pop Rural right in the mouth. Rural really hasn't recovered. They have one stop because of a missed field goal.
Pringle approaches the kickoff at the 40-yard line. It's a squibber, takes a high bounce, and is roped in by Washburn Rural at the 32-yard line. 1 second comes off the clock on that recovery. Connor Botts is the one who dives on it to stop the clock. They'll give him the 33. That's where the nose of the ball is planted anyway.
What are you going to do? You got 50 seconds left. You're down 35-0. Are you going to try to do something, Brendan, or are you just going, we got to get to the next half?
Washburn Rural does have 2 timeouts and is moving with the wind, and they're coming out in the spread on 1st and 10. 2 wide receivers and a wing to the right. McKentis Adams in the backfield. Carlgren takes the snap. He gives it off to the right. Looked like he had a hole, but instead he's dragged down from behind. Excellent tackle from behind that time for Seaman.
Yeah, Adams picks up 3, but it looked like he was going to get more than that. Really nice tackle by Seaman. Seaman's defense has been fantastic in this first half. And the offense, every part of Seaman has been really good this half.
That was a gain of 4 for Adams. 25 seconds on the clock. 2nd down and 6. Carlgren takes the snap. Option look going to the right. He'll keep it. Heads for the sideline. Nathan Zephyrdon grabs him around the shoulders and rides him out of bounds at the 41.
Yeah, good tackle by Zephyr Johns, who does it both ways, inside linebacker and the fullback. You got Cowan, the quarterback and defensive end right now. So Seaman's guys are really getting after Rural. Rural has run 2 running plays. We're going to say, well, they're going to take advantage of the wind. They don't have time to throw it. So they come out with Adams running for 3. Cowan runs for another 5. And here you are, I guess, for another 4. So you got 3rd down and 3.
Carlgren put his foot out of bounds at the 40. So with 18 seconds left, 3rd down and short. And it is another give. The ball pops out. Adams gets it right back. McKentis Adams on the carry. He fights as hard as he can for 1.5 yards, and that's all he'll get as the clock continues to wind down in the 2nd quarter. And as we head into the halftime break, with the clock at 0-0 for the first half, it has been all Seaman Vikings with a 35-0 lead over the Washburn Rural Junior Blues. When we come back after this 2-minute break for our halftime show, we'll get you a drive-in scoring summary from the first half. Mark will have your statistical update from the opening half, and we will also get some scores from around the area and around the state, some scores that will be very important for our 2 teams here tonight. That's coming up in 120 seconds. You're listening to the Investor Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
It's happening in
because Carlgren gets hit right when he throws it. Mills has a 40-yard interception return on the screen that was about 5 yards short of the receiver because Carlgren got hit. So you got to figure out how to just move the ball a little bit. I think if you're rural, the defense has been on the field the whole time, and they can't stop Seaman. Seaman's got everything going. They're running, they're throwing. They've just had a great offensive game plan, and then their defense is just dominating at the line of scrimmage.
We will take one more timeout, come back with second half action after this on the Investor Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
If you owe back taxes, all true, but there's a way out. It's called
$3690.33.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Welcome back to Mr. Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW, FM News 104.9. Brendan Dworzinski and Mark Elliott with you in the booth at Bowen Glaze Stadium. Washburn Rural, the home team tonight, trailing Seaman 35-0. Real quick, Jake LeBon, let's get your biggest takeaway from the first half tonight.
Big takeaway, the start of the game. Mark hit the nail on the head. The start of the game was going to be key to this one, and the Seaman Vikings deferred to the second half, and instead of taking the win, Rural took the football, and they just couldn't get out of their own end zone. 3 and outs, and the game is won in the trenches here. And right now, the Seaman Viking trenches on the offensive and defensive line. Reed Cowan's got all day to throw. He can do kind of whatever he wants. Then on the other side, Carlgren just has had no time. This is a game that's won right at the line of scrimmage because Washington Rule's got good skill guys, Adams and Bolin. They can flat out go. We saw what they did against Junction City and Manhattan. Well, they're neutralized if Carlgren can't even get them the football. So in the second half, I would imagine Glenn O'Neill will have the starters in for 2 drives would be my guess. And then after that, it'll be all backups.
Glenn O'Neill's Seaman Vikings up 5 touchdowns as we start the second half, and to add insult to injury for Washburn Rural, they have to kick the ball away to start this half. Seaman will be returning this kick. 3 men deep for the Vikings. Giles Fredrickson lining up at the 40-yard line to send this kick away. Kicking to the south end zone. That's left to right as you listen. Fielded all the way back at the 3-yard line, and here come the Seaman Vikings to start off this second half. And on the return, it's Peyton Murray who gets tripped up at the 20-yard line with a flag flying behind the play. Very few flags so far in this game. All of the action has been scores for the Vikings pretty much. Just the second penalty called in this game so far. Get our call from head referee Cale Clark. As he picks up the flag at the 21-yard line, tucks it back in the belt, and now we await the signal for what the infraction was. It's a block in the back against Seaman. So the Vikings, instead of starting off this third quarter with the ball at their own 20-yard line, will have it moved half the distance to the goal, back to the 10, 11:56 on the clock in the third period.
So by, about 30 yards, the worst field position for Seaman to start a drive.
Exactly 30 yards. In fact, Mark, on first down, they're going to try to get back some of that yardage lost. It's a sweep around the left side to Nathan Zephyrjohn, who carries it back across the 20-yard line. That's enough for a gain of 12 and a first down for the Vikings on their first play of the third quarter, keeping it on the ground with the senior Zephyrjohn.
Yeah, just a little toss sweep. Ball's on the left hash. Just run a little toss sweep to the left. Zephyrjohn's able to turn the corner. Rural has not been able to really to corral and keep Seaman from getting outside the tackles, or outside the ends, if you will. The defensive ends have kind of come down. Seaman's just been able to go right around them. And as Jake said, Reed Cowan's been able to do whatever he wants to do.
Double wings on first down for Seaman. It's a toss outside to Zephyrjohn on the right side of the formation. He's not able to get much. In fact, he is dropped at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play for Zephyrjohn. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Vikings, already up 5 scores.
Well, in that one, we finally saw Rural's defense actually almost in, and then that's where Zephyr Johns had nowhere to go. So they actually sealed, didn't allow Seaman to get to the outside. Nice defensive play by Rural.
Two wings and the fullback in the formation. Ball centered between the hashes for the quarterback, Cowan. One wide receiver to the left. Cowan drops back looking to pass. Rolls to the left, and this time he's thrown down to the backfield. Austin Fager, the outside linebacker, records the sack back inside the 15-yard line. A humongous play. Austin Fager has been bottled up a lot offensively at running back. That time, from his outside linebacker spot, he's able to force a big loss on the sack.
Yeah, 13-yard loss from the 22 back to the 12, 22 to the, where are they?
They're at the 14-yard line, so call it a loss of 8 on the sack.
Lost 8. But there was no time. We talked about Cowan's had all kinds of time to do whatever he wants to do. That time he did not. Rural came after him.
10-10 to go in the third quarter. Third down and 18 for Seaman. Cowan under center. No drop on this one. Throws it behind to the left to Kason Stallbomber. Wide receiver pass going deep for Braden Colley. He's got it at the 45 and extends his way all the way up near midfield. But we've got a flag way back near where Stallbomber threw the ball at the 14-yard line. 9:56 on the clock in the third. Stallbomber has thrown a handful of passes this year, and this one, a beautiful rainbow spiral for a big gain, is getting waved off by the referees.
Yeah, 35-yard pickup on the play, and you can see that from up here. You can't see that necessarily when you're down on the ground playing defense for Rural. Stallbomber, though, went way back behind the line of scrimmage so Cowan could throw him a lateral, and Stallbomber throws it down to Colley, the tight end. 35-yard pickup on the play. The ball would have been at the Seaman 49-yard line, but instead you have a penalty. And so I guess Rural's got to say, okay, we got things going our direction a little bit from that first half when they had no chance to stop Seaman. Now Seaman's in a big hole here.
It's a holding penalty against the offensive line for the Vikings.
What is that? Maybe our first or second penalty of the game. Haven't had many.
Just the third one. Second here to start off this second half. And on a toss sweep on third down and forever, Peyton Murray is wrapped up at the 10-yard line. A gain of 4, but that's it for the wingback for the Vikings. So for the first time today, Mark, an excellent stop by the Washburn Rural defense.
Yeah, and they did do it. That's a really good job. And I think the second down, after Zephyr John runs for a first down on the first toss, then they got in the backfield on the next toss. Then they get a sack of Cowan on the second play. And then you get the penalty on the big kind of wide receiver flea flicker that went for 35. Got a penalty on that, and now you got a punt coming from the Seaman end zone. So nice job for Rural right out of the gate. Coach Bueller got him fired up, I guess, at half.
Nathan Zephyr-John to kick it into the wind. High snap, puts his left foot into it. A spinning, side-winding kick that bounces at about the 34. Will roll ahead for 1 yard and dies at the 35-yard line. A 25-yard punt by Zephyr-John for Seaman. Now Washburn Rural gets its best field position of the game at the Seaman 35-yard line. And Mark, this is a total role reversal from the first quarter when bad punts by Washburn Rural turned into Seaman points. Yeah, now the Junior Blues get good field position.
Yeah, I don't know if you're really going to have any good punts into this win for sure, but you've got great field position. So the only way that Rural gets back in it is do the same thing. Seaman scored 21 in the first quarter while Rural did nothing. This is how Seaman did it, by starting in obviously in the other team's field position. So Rural's got an opportunity starting at the Seaman 35.
2-by-2 wide receiver set on first down, and inside give on the first play of this drive. McKentis Adams, the running back, in action, and he's able to gain 6 yards on an inside give. Second down and 4 coming up for Washburn Rural, trailing 35-0 against Seaman. 8:40 to go in the third.
Yeah, and one of the challenges I think for Seaman is, all right, we've already kind of won the game. Now we're going to come out with the same intensity we had in the first half. Doesn't seem to be the case. Rural playing a little bit now.
Inside give again. McKentis Adams nearly had a hole to hit. He gets tripped up, though, and has to skid to a stop at about the 26-yard line. So he is a yard shy of the line to gain. Third down and 1 for Washburn Rural. Kalen Hazenkamp makes the stop that time.
Yeah, Rural had 20 rushes for only 31 yards in the first half. 2 here in the second half for 9, both by Adams.
Ball on the near right hash, third down and 1. Snap to Carl Grin. He gives it to Adams. Adams hitting the backfield. It's Hazenkamp again, and they make the tackle right at the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 1.
Yeah, you're right. That was Hazenkamp that came in Boy, the sophomore 5'10", 190-pound defensive tackle just shot in there. So Adams gets stopped for no gain. 4th down and 1 now for the Washburn Rural Junior Blues at the 26-yard line of Seaman.
Rural adds a little beef to the lineup. Amir Sabarini, the slot receiver, comes off the H-back. Lucas Hanks back in. 4th down and 1, under 7.5 to go in the third quarter. Hanks switches from left to right on the line. Carlgren in the gun, 2 receivers left. Gives it to Adams again. Tries bouncing right. He's got it up for the first down. Down to the 20 and escorted out of bounds just past the 20-yard line, excuse me.
Boy, heck of a run there by Adams. It looked like Seaman had a shot maybe to keep him on that 4th and 1 from not even getting the first down. He ran through one tackle in the backfield and then just outran some people. Takes it all the way down to about the 19-yard line. Good effort there.
Excellent run that time to pick up the first down, a gain of 7 for McKentis Adams. 7:18 on the clock. Washburn Rural still looking for its first points of the game. Seaman trying to hold on to its shutout up 35-0. And now we've got a stoppage on the field and a timeout called by Washburn Rural. We'll take it with them. 35-0. Seaman leads Rural. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
If you owe back taxes, for tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
First down and 10, Washburn Rural at the 19-yard line. Cooper Carlgren on first down gives to McKentis Adams, who has been a busy man to start off this third quarter. Carries it right up the middle for about 2 yards on 1st and 10.
Yeah, Seaman's defense totally dominated that first half. Only 39 yards of offense for Rural on 24 offensive plays, while Seaman had 33 for 202. Well, Seaman went backwards on their opening possession. They had to punt it in the wind. Great field position for Rural. Took it 4 downs. They got a first down. And now they got 2nd down and 9 at the 19.
2x2 set in the pistol for the quarterback, Carlgren on the near hash. Once again, it's a give. Hands it off up the middle, and another short gain for the Junior Blues up to the 15-yard line.
So
carry that time by Austin Fager.
Fager's actually, he's had 4 carries now, 20 yards. So the leading rusher, you got Carlgren 11 for 14, Adams 11 for 18. Fager went for 11, 1, 4, and 4. So he's got 20 yards on 4 carries. Fager reads the holes pretty well. Pretty smart running back.
3rd down and 5 at the 15-yard line. 6:15 to go in the third quarter. Washburn Rural trying to get its first points of the game. Carlgren trying to get the signal in here. Still 15 on the play clock. Now he gets motion from Amir Sabarini. Trips receivers to the left. Carlgren wanted the fake handoff. There's nobody there behind him. Now he tries bouncing to the outside of the scramble. Gets to the 10, to the 5. Carlgren to the paint. Touchdown, Junior Blues. 5:56 to go in the third quarter. A completely busted play ends up in the first points of the night for Washburn Rural.
15-yard run. So now the biggest play from scrimmage for this Rural offense comes in the third quarter, and you're exactly right. Carlgren, it happened in the second quarter where he turned to fake to a running back. Running back's not there. Nobody there again when he turned to do a play-action fake. He was going to throw it. Then he just saw, hey, there's a little bit of a hole. He took off up the middle. Then he bounced it clear around the left side, ran all the way and scored in the left end zone. When he actually ran it up in the right B gap, he scores the left quarter of the end zone. Great effort by Carlgren.
Giles Fredrickson knocks through the extra point, and with that, 5:56 to go in the third quarter, 35-7, Seaman leads Washburn Rural. We'll take a break. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
annual enrollment ends.
Game of the week on 580 WIBW. Washburn Rural just completed its first touchdown drive of the ball game and now is kicking back to the Seaman Vikings. Caught just inside the end zone by Seaman on the ensuing kick by Giles Fredrickson. Ball is caught deep back there for Seaman by Caden Meredith, but in the end zone, that's good enough for a touchback with just under 6 minutes to go until we reach the fourth quarter. That last drive by Washburn Rural took 7 plays, 3 minutes, 2 seconds off the clock to get their first points of the ball game. But now the Seaman offense, which was a little bit stagnant on their first drive of this half, is back out onto the field with just under 6 minutes to go in the period. First down and 10 for the Vikings at their own 20-yard line. Reed Cowan under center will hand it off up the middle to his fullback, Zephyr John, on first down. He will not go down, but eventually his forward progress is stopped at the 23-yard line. A pickup of 3, 2nd and 7 coming up for the Vikes.
12th carry for Zephyr John, 64 yards rushing, had the 2 first half touchdown on the ground, a 1-yard run, and then an 8-yard touchdown run. Cowan threw a couple touchdown passes in that first half as well. Third quarter, though, there's no question. The first possession of Seaman, they went backwards. Ended up having to punt it out of their own end zone. Had a big flea flicker for, taking the ball out to midfield on about a 35-yard completion from Stahlbomber to Colley, but got called back by penalty.
2nd down and 7, Cowan in the gun. Option toss going to the left. Caden Ireland. Juke move back to the inside to get away from one defender, but he can't do anything beyond that as he's snowed under at the 24-yard line. It's a pickup of just 1 despite the fancy footwork. 3rd down and 6 now for the Vikes. 5 minutes to go in the third quarter.
So there, Rural comes down on the quarterback Cowan on that option. But this time the linebacker got outside to make the Seaman running back cut it back to the inside. So it's just a 1-yard gain. Seaman playing this option a little bit better in this third quarter.
Vikings leading by 28. Ball on the near left hash as the Vikings move from right to left across your radio dial. 3 wide receivers to the wide side right. 1 wide receiver short side left. Zephyr John in the backfield. Snap to Cowan. Designed short roll to the right. Looking downfield, puts up a rainbow for Stahlbomber. Got it just past the 50, and he runs it all the way down near the 35-yard line of Washburn Rural. The deep over route by Case and Stahlbomber results in a huge play and a pickup of 43 yards.
Boy, perfect throw. Great corner route run by Stahlbomber, and Cowan throwing it into the wind. It's about 13 miles out of the north right now. Seaman headed south to north. But, boy, Cowan threw a beautiful spiral right on the money to Stahlbomber to take the ball all the way down to the 34-yard line of the Washburn Rural Junior Blues. That was a beautiful pass by Cowan. Stahlbomber, a great route, really well executed by Seaman's offense.
Ball down at the 34-yard line, 4:24 to go in the third quarter. Cowan under center. Quick give up the middle. Zephyr John, who runs into one of the safeties for Washburn Rural as he passes the 30. And gets up to the 28-yard line. It's a gain of 6 on first down, and one of the Junior Blues is down on the field after the play, writhing in pain a little bit at about the 34-yard line.
Yeah, there's one of the things, Brendan, when you play in cold weather for really the first time, and we're talking, wind chills are now down to 30, so it's really chilly out there, and you get hit a certain way, it can sting for a long time. So hopefully the youngster's going to be okay.
Jake LeBon, were you able to see who's down and what happened on the play back near the line of scrimmage?
I didn't, and it looks like it's a knee injury from what I can tell from right now, but the player went down, and he's still on his back on the 35-yard line of Washburn Rural, but it looks like they're looking at his right knee, I believe.
In the press box, we are screened by the trainers from who is down, but as soon as we know, we will relay that information to you. There's 4 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the third quarter here at Bowen Glaze Stadium in Southwest Topeka. The Seaman Vikings leading Washburn Rural by a margin of 35-7. It was a 3rd down and medium yardage for Seaman before they completed a 43-yard pass play from Reed Cowan deep down the field to Case and Stahlbomber for a big pickup. It is David Dean, the starting strong safety for Washburn Rural, who is down on the field. He is still seated at the 34. We've got multiple coaches going out to tend to him. We will take a timeout here. We'll be back in 30 seconds after they help David Dean off the field. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
David Dean being helped off the field. They're not taking him to the sideline. Instead, they're headed right back to the locker room with the starting safety for Washburn Rural.
Yeah, not a leg injury at all. I mean, he's holding his left arm like it's either his arm or collarbone or something like that.
And kicking the legs in frustration while he was down on the field for sure. Nonetheless, back on the field, 2nd down and 4 for Seaman at the 28-yard line of Washburn Rural. Vikings up 35-7. Reed Cowan in the gun, quarterback power, angling a run to the right, gets hit, tries to carry some defenders with him. He's able to beyond the 25, down to the 23-yard line. That's just enough for the senior quarterback, Reed Cowan, to move the sticks for the Seaman Vikings. 1st down.
You know, and Cowan, we did the game, or I had the opportunity to do the game with you at Seaman when they beat Manhattan. Cowan very seldom is taken down by one guy. He tends to run through some tackles. They hit him probably 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, and then he fights his way for another 3 to pick up the 1st down.
One of the biggest non-lineman bodies for Seaman, 6'3", 200 pounds for the quarterback. He's got 2 wings and a fullback in the formation. Ball in the far right hash on 1st and 10. Kason Stahlbomber goes in motion, handoff to the fullback. It's Kobe Jordan in the game, his first carry, and he plunges ahead beyond the 15-yard line up to the 14, a pickup of 9 on 1st and 10.
Now his first carry, and we were talking about that Glenn O'Neill's probably going to run a lot of guys in, get him some opportunities. So Zephyr John's got him a little blow right there. And you run that time it was real tight, no wide receivers whatsoever. You had the 2 wings. Everybody's in tight, run motion with Stahlbomber, and then you give the fullback the ball off the right tackle. Nice hold, 9-yard pickup by Jordan.
18th carry of the year for Kobe Jordan, up to 84 yards on the season. Fumbled snap by Cowan. He picks it up and plows ahead into the line, and he's able to get up to the 12-yard line. That's a pickup of 2 on 2nd and 1, so call it a 1st down for Seaman on a play that was botched from the beginning on the dropped snap. That's the 2nd dropped snap in this game by Cowan. Once in the gun, once under center, but it works out this time for a pickup of 2 and a 1st.
Yeah, 2nd down and 1, and quarterback fumbles the snap and just says, okay, I'm going to get the 1st down, and he did. Took it all the way down to the 11.
1st and 10 for the Vikings, ball on the right hash. They can get a 1st down without a touchdown at the 1-yard line. Sweep handoff to Kason Stahlbomber, angling right, fighting through traffic, working his way down to the 6 for a pickup of 5. 2nd down and 5 coming up for the Vikings, under 2.5 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, and the first time we've really seen one of the slot or the wing. Slot, I'm saying, is off the left tackle. The wing, I'm saying, is off the right tackle. And Stahlbomber that time off the left tackle, so on the slot, and just ran a little power play off the right tackle across the formation. First time we've seen that play tonight.
2 wings and a fullback again with Cowan under center. The fullback is Zephyr John. Stahlbomber comes in motion, takes the sweep, going right again, turns upfield, fights down to the goal line, looking for a signal, and he is stopped inside the 1 to bring up a 1st and goal, inches away from the paint.
Stahlbomber got the first touchdown for Seaman, the 12-yard touchdown reception. And I'm thinking, you just given it to him twice. Wouldn't you give it to him one more time?
He has been.
He just got your first and goal at the 1. And he ran it down there, back-to-back carries, went for 4, went for 5, went for 5. He only needs 1 right here. Could give Jordan the ball, maybe the fullback, give him a touchdown.
Stahlbomber has been effective both as a receiver and a runner in this game. Now with 100 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Heavy set for Seaman. They go with the wing tee to the right.
Those make Stahlbomber tailback.
Now they're going to completely rearrange the formation. Late give. Stahlbomber, who's all the way behind the play, gets wrapped up in a pile of junior blues for no gain. Good job by the front 7 that time for the Wild Bunch defense to make the stop on Stahlbomber, who, as Mark noted, switched positions on the play.
Yeah, a little confusion. Seaman was kind of shuffling around a little bit, and Stahlbomber pops back about 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage at a deep tailback, and then ran the ball right off the right guard. There's nowhere to go.
11th play of the drive coming up for for Seaman against Washburn Rural at the Rural 1-yard line. 50 seconds left in the 3rd. Seaman already up 28 points. Cowan under center. Cowan hands it off. Nathan Zephyr John leaps into the end zone. Touchdown, Seaman. Reed Cowan pounds his chest as he heads to the sideline, and the Vikings extend their lead all the way back up to 34 points, 41-7 41 seconds left in the quarter.
Third rushing touchdown of the game for Nathan Sefferjohns, a 6'1", 200-pound senior. That's his 14th rushing touchdown of his senior campaign. Really nice drive by Seaman. Obviously, their first drive to start the third quarter went backwards, which is the only time their offense has really failed to come through, because they scored every time in the first half, had one missed field goal.
Ike Pringle on to the extra point. He is able to knock it through, and with that, it is 42-7. Washburn Rural will get the ball back, trailing Seaman by 35 points. We'll take a timeout. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
Update your status with Status and buy like a VIP with
Game of the Week, 580 WIBW and FM News 104.9. Brendan Dworzinski and Mark Elliott with you in the booth at Bowen Glaze Stadium. Seaman just capped off an 11-play drive with a 1-yard touchdown run by Nathan Sefferjohn, his third score of the game, to make it 42-7. Seaman with the lead. Vikings kicking it away back to the Junior Blues. Ike Pringle gets a high kick that goes up into the wind. It's fielded at the 26-yard line, and a good return up the left sideline by Josh Williams for Washburn Rural. Decent field position coming up for the Junior Blues at about the 32 on their own half of the field.
Yeah, so Sefferjohn's 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half for the Seaman senior fullback. He had 2 touchdown passes thrown by Reed Cowan, 1 to Colley, 1 to Stahlbomber. So you had the 4 touchdowns on the offensive end. You had Mills with a 40-yard interception returned for a touchdown on a screen pass. Nice job by Mills to get in there. A lot of pressure on Carlgren, so Ender threw it. Now you got the 3rd rushing touchdowns for Sefferjohns. But the big play in that one was the 43-yard pass on 3rd and about 6 or 7, I think it was. Cowan put it right on the money to Stahlbomber on a corner route, picked up 43 yards, took it into rural territory, and then Seaman did what they do. They just grinded out the last 40 yards, really, of that drive.
That drive took over 5 minutes off the clock. Now Washburn Rural, 2 wide receivers to the wide side right, and we've got a whistle before the snap is fired off, and it's for a penalty against the Junior Blues. They took too long to get the snap off, so a delay of game against Rural will move them back 5 yards to the 27-yard line. First down and 15 now for Steve Bueller's offense.
Boy, in the wind, you look at the ribbons on the goalpost. We started the game at 11 miles per hour. It's up to 13. Seems like it's a little stronger than that right now. Whip it a little bit more.
3 wide receivers right, roll right on 1st and 15 for Carlgren. Loads up, throws deep down the field. Robbie Bullen's got it into Seaman territory, all the way up to the 35-yard line. Carlgren takes a deep shot on 1st down, and he finds his top receiver, Robbie Bolin. 1st down and 10, Rural at the Seaman 35.
38 yards on that strike, so that's the biggest play of the game. He had the 15-yard touchdown run by Carlgren, the last possession. That was the biggest offensive play, but that a beautiful play right there, 38 yards through the air, Bolin's 3rd catch.
Blues race back to the line, ball on the near right hash, double wide receiver stacked to the near side. Hand off on 1st down to McKentis Adams, and he's got nowhere to go. A trio of Vikings make the stop. Hazenkamp in on the play. Peyton Murray nearby as well. And give credit on the stop, too, to Jackson Thomas. And that will be the final play of the 3rd quarter as the final 2 seconds tick off the clock. 42-7 for the Seaman Vikings. Put your 4 fingers up because we're headed to the 4th quarter. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
I have a grandson in 8th grade, and we have already
Preps game of the week on 580 WIBW and FM News 104.9. Start of the fourth quarter. Washburn Rural moving from right to left as you listen. Second down and 10 as the quarterback Cooper Carlgren for Washburn Rural keeps the ball in a scramble, heads right up the middle of the field, and gets to the 25-yard line for a gain of 10 and a Junior Blues first down. Brendan Dworzinski and Mark Elliott with you here at Bowen Glaze Stadium in Southwest Topeka. Jake Laban, our field reporter tonight. It has been all Seaman Vikings for the majority of this game, leading by 35 as we start the fourth quarter. But Washburn Rural, for just the second time in this game, moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, I think you should just change the score to it. 7-7 here in the second half.
Washburn Rural has played a much more even game on both sides of the ball since we passed halftime, still trailing by quite a lot. And on the first down handoff, it's a give to McKentis Adams, who goes through the middle, jitterbugs a little bit, bounces out left, and gets past the 20 to the 19-yard line. That's a gain of 6. Second down and 4 now for Washburn Rural.
Yeah, 20 rushes for Rural in the first half for 31 yards. Well, now you've got 39 for Carlgren, 24 for Adams, 20 for Fager. So Rural's been much more efficient offensively. Carlgren's big throw of 38 yards to Robbie Boland at the end of that third quarter was really the first time this entire game that Carlgren's had any time in the pocket, because that took some time for Boland to go from wide left across and catch it on the right hash. A lot of time, great throw. Boland, the go-to receiver, obviously, for Carlgren. That was a really nice play.
Timeout called by Seaman on defense. We'll keep it here with 11:17 to play. Seaman leading 42-7, but Washburn Rural is in the red zone here. Jake Laban, we have talked about the pressure up front by Seaman throughout this game on the defensive side of the ball, but so far on this drive, a little bit more time for Cooper Carlgren, the Washburn Rural quarterback.
Yeah, just a little bit more, I guess you could say, blocking up front. Now, the Seaman Vikings do have some second stringers right now in the game for Glenn O'Neill's bunch, but the Washburn Rural offensive line is doing a much better job. And when you notice, too, when Adams gets the football, he's not getting touched in the backfield when he gets the handoff. It's now, past the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 4 at the 19-yard line for Washburn Rural. Trips receivers to the right after some motion, and we've got a flag and a false start called against the Junior Blues. So back them up to a second down and a 9 at the 24-yard line.
And that's really the challenge when things really aren't going your way, and you've got a second down and 4, and then you get a procedure penalty. Now you've got second down and 9. You kind of just keep shooting yourselves in the foot a little bit. Rural, though, going into the wind, and they scored, downwind in the third quarter, but they've got a great opportunity here, and they would like to punch us in. I mean, you're playing because you're trying to do well. You want to fight, you don't want to give up.
3 receivers right on second down and long. Carlgren rolls right, throws to the end zone, goes up, and touchdown Washburn Rural! A deep throw to the end zone for Amir Sabarini! His second touchdown grab of the year, and Washburn Rural continues to fight early here in the fourth quarter, cutting the lead down to 42-13, 11-10 to play.
25-yard throw, and I thought it might be picked off. Sabarini did a great job going to get that football. That's his second touchdown receiving this year, but Carlgren threw it in a perfect spot. Seaman had 2 guys right there, but he threaded the needle. Sabarini able to make the catch in the right corner of the end zone.
Giles Fredrickson on for the extra point, gets off a high kick up and through. Make it 42-14, 11-10 to go. Seaman still leads Washburn Rural. We'll take a break. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW.
Bring your purple pride every game.
Giles Fredrickson gets prepared to kick the ball away for Washburn Rural. The Junior Blues trailing 42-14 after their second touchdown of the game, a 25-yard touchdown pass from Cooper Carlgren to Amir Sabarini. Fredrickson's kickoff bounces out of bounds at the 21-yard line on the near left side. trying to kick it low because of the billowing wind here in Topeka tonight, but it ends up in a penalty and good field position for Seaman. Vikings take over with just over 11 minutes to play, up by 4 scores.
Washburn's really done a nice job. And, because you had the opportunity down 35-0, just to come out and not really give it your all. They really have. They're now winning the second half, 14-7. Carlgren, just a great throw to Saverini, 25-yard throw into the right corner of the end zone. Really well thrown. And then you had the big 38-yarder to Bolin on that drive as well.
1st and 10 for Seaman. Reed Cowan to give to Peyton Murray on a sweep handoff from right to left. He carries a defender with him up to the 40-yard line. A gain of 5 yards for the wingback Murray. Kobe Jordan still in the game at fullback in place of Nathan Zephyr-John, who's got 3 touchdowns tonight, giving him 14 on the season. 2nd down and 5 for the Vikes, leading by 4 touchdowns. Cowan back under center. Wing T to the right. Hand off on a sweep again, and nothing doing this time for Seaman. A gain of a yard, if that.
Probably Stahlbomber. That's when we've seen him from the left wing or left slot running that little off tackle play. Maybe picked up a length of a football. So I'm going to say no gain for Stahlbomber on that one.
And with that, it is a 3rd down and 5 yards for the Seaman Vikings. And you have to give credit to the Wild Bunch defense of Washburn Rural for fighting all the way to the very end here tonight. We're down to just about 10 minutes to play in the ball game. Seaman has Reed Cowan back under center, wing T left, 1 isolated wing right as well, wide receiver left. Sweep handoff is instead kept by Reed Cowan. Looked like he gave to Stahlbomber a great fake, but Cowan is dropped for a loss all the way back near the 36-yard line. That's a loss of 4 yards on 3rd down and 5, and Seaman will have to punt it away. 9:40 and counting on the clock.
Yeah, was that Kendall that made the play there? That was a nice job. So he did not, as a defensive end, did not bite on the sweep action, and then a bootleg by Cowan, and he ran right into the defensive end. Loses 4, so Rural gets their 2nd stop of this second half.
Nathan Zephyr-John on to punt for the 2nd time tonight, has the wind at his back, and is willing to burn off a few extra seconds, puts his left foot into it. A spinning kick, no spiral. It lays horizontally as it flies through the air, takes a bounce in favor of Seaman, rolls past the 20, past the 15, and will roll to a stop at the 12-yard line. A 52-yard kick by Nathan Zephyr-John.
Yeah, got a great roll on that one. He punted it away really from the lone return man. And as you said, there was really no spin on it. It was like a knuckleball. So it landed perfect, got about 15 yards of run on it. Put Rural back inside their own 15 to start this drive, 9:04 to go.
Washburn Rural still has quite a mountain to climb, down 4 scores in the 4th quarter, but they've played hard all the way through this second half, and they come out with a 1st and 10 at their own 12. Ball on the near side left hash, 2 wide receivers left, a stack of 2 wide receivers on the left, 2 to the wide right. Carlgren, option run, tosses it outside to McKentis Adams, who tries breaking past the line of scrimmage, but he only gets a couple of yards. Maybe 2 as he sweeps around to the right side and is out of bounds at about the 13-yard line. So they're actually only going to give him about a yard and a half.
Get it to the 14. I think they got him on the 14, so give him a couple. He's actually about 13.5-yard line, but we're going to be nice to Rural, give McKentis Adams 26 yards rushing on 14 carries. 14-7 second half in favor of Rural, though.
Now the wide receivers are wide on the left as Saverini goes in motion. Carlgren designed boot to the left, has to get around some defenders, but he can't for long. Pressure comes from both edges, and that's a sack of Carlgren. Jackson Thomas gets in the backfield to pair up on part of that sack. Kason Hazenkamp as well. We have called his name plenty in this game. He pairs up for the sack that time. 3rd down and long coming up for the Junior Blues. 8:08 to go.
Seaman defense really disciplined. So when you run the bootlegs and try to get to the outside, Carlgren has not been able to because the ends kind of get out there to kind of hem him in. So then he has to stop, and when he stops, he runs right into all the pressure from the backside.
And pressured again and dropped again at the 10-yard line. It's a gain of a yard, so no sack on the play, but Carlgren had no chance on that one. That play was dead to rights from the jump. As we tick down near 7.5 minutes on the clock, Washburn Rural will punt again.
Yeah, tough night for the quarterback for Rural just because he hadn't had any time. Had time, hit Bolin for 38 yards. Had time, hit the Savarini for the 25-yard touchdown. So really 2 of his passes as he had time to throw it, and he's gone 4 for 7.
Low snap to Giles Fredrickson, who scoops it up. There was no punt block on for Seaman. So Fredrickson is able to pick up the ball and get away, kind of a side leg kick. Is able to give a little breathing room to the Washburn Rural defense, but not a whole lot. First down and 10 coming up after the punt is down at the 32-yard line.
Yeah,
7-10 to play.
Yeah, very fortunate. Nobody was coming. Seaman's like, all right, he's putting it into the wind. We're going to end up with good field position. Let's not rough the punter, which then allowed him to kind of, as the ball's rolling around in the end zone, pick it up. Nice little punt, really, out of the end zone to get it to the 32.
Seaman breaks the huddle. Reed Cowan still in the game, has a few backups out there with him. Tight double wing set. Motion comes from one of the wings. It's a high pitch to the outside. It's caught by Kyle Adams. Adams passes the line of scrimmage and fights his way all the way up to the 25-yard line, maybe even the 24 with the extension. That's an 8-yard gain for Kyle Adams on his first carry of the game, his 9th rush of the season.
Yeah, Adams, the 5'7", 135-pound senior, that was a strong run, and you can tell there's an upperclassman there because he got hit really quickly and just ran right through it. Good effort by Adams.
Second down and short now for the Vikings. Cowan under center. 2 backs in the backfield to his right. 1 wide receiver isolated. Wide side left. That's the far side of the field. Cowan taking as much time as he can. Play clock goes down to 13 and counting. Down to 6:25 to play. Handoff, give up the middle. It's Kobe Jordan. And the ball pops out late, but Jordan's knee was down first. Up to the 14-yard line. That's a big gain right there, about 10 yards. First down, Seaman, as the clock continues to wind.
Yeah, so we'll give him 11 down to the 14. So that's 2 carries for Jordan, 1 for 9, 1 for 11, 20 yards rushing.
Even that out for 10 yards per carry for
that works,
junior fullback.
That works. Seaman obviously in no hurry at all, wanting to use the clock. They had great field position, got the game well in hand at 42-14.
And with the game in hand, as Mark said, that will signal the end for quarterback Reed Cowan, who heads off the sideline, gives some hugs and fist bumps, and it's now Camden Barta, the junior backup, into the game and under center. 5:45 on the clock. Barta will hand to Kobe Jordan, who bounces around in the backfield, is pinballed between a few defenders, and the play is stopped right at the 14-yard line for no gain.
There goes that 10 yards per carry average for Jordan.
As we reset this next play, let's take 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week.
Stay connected with the news you need from 580 WIBW Topeka, WIBWNewsNow.com, and FM News 104.9.
Welcome back to the Invista Credit Union 580 Preps Game of the Week on 580 WIBW. Brendan Dworzinski and Mark Elliott with you in the booth. Jake Laban, our field reporter tonight at Bowen Glaze Stadium. Marco Marquez, our producer-engineer at the Alpha Media Studios. Seaman with a 42-14 lead in the red zone and under 5 minutes to play. Backup quarterback Camden Barta in the game. Gives a sweep handoff going to the left to Aiden Poulter, who is able to cut through some defenders down to the 10-yard line for a pickup of 4.
His first carry of the night. So Cowan will finish the night with 9 carries for 15 yards, but really good throwing the ball on a very cold, windy night here out at Washburn Rural. Cowan goes 12 of 15 for 142 yards, 2 touchdown passes. So a really nice night for the senior quarterback. Get that week off next week, then get after it in the playoff.
Yeah, that will put him at 1,299 yards for the season. As we continue to have the clock wind here down to 4:12 and counting for the Vikings, facing a third down and medium. Ball centered between the hashes in the red zone. Barta fakes a toss. He's trying to run right, and he's got nowhere to go because Connor Conklin is there to blow the play up in the backfield.
I think Barta was supposed to hand that off, and he just didn't turn. The back, that was Poulter, I think. Poulter just beat him to the corner, and Barta didn't get the ball to him, and then he had nowhere to go. And he loses, about 7 yards back?
Yeah, call it a loss of 7 as Barta is thrown down in the backfield. And it looks like the field goal team is out there. Ike Pringle, who missed his only field goal attempt of the game so far, going wide right. But
I won't hold that against him. Yeah, that was a bad snap. Really great job by Barta to get the ball down even on the tee. And Pringle kind of had to hang on a little bit, and then he just barely missed it. He said, "Oh, that was pretty close to the goalpost," but they didn't give it to him.
And timeout called by Seaman. They let the play clock run all the way down. The game clock now at 3:13. It's a 42-14 lead for the Vikings as we near the end of the fourth quarter. Let's throw it to our field reporter, Jake LeBon. And Jake, you have to credit Washburn Rural with fighting throughout this entire game and doing their best here in the fourth quarter. But Seaman really has been dominant from the jump.
Yeah, the third quarter, much, much better from Washburn, especially on the defense. And when you think about it, it started with the field position. I wonder if Steve Bueller could have a do-over because Seaman won the toss. They elected to defer. So that means Washburn Rural, they get to choose. You can have the ball, you can kick off, you can take the win, you can go to an end zone, you can pick whatever you want. Well, they chose the football. And going into this wind, and I know it was about 11 miles per hour at kickoff, but when it's a cold wind right now and the body's not quite warmed up, it makes it a lot tougher. And if he could have a do-over, I wonder if he'd say, you know what, I'll take the wind just to see what could happen because they just got back in that big hole in that first quarter. In the third quarter, much different. They kicked off with the wind and kept Seaman kind of pinned back.
I'm really disappointed, Brendan and Jake LeBon.
As the kick by Ike Pringle is a sidewinder, but this time he's able to tuck it through the left upright, up and good. 45-14, Seaman extends its lead to 31 points over Washburn Rural. Pringle, one of the best kickers in the City and Centennial League. Mark, continue with your thought here about Jake.
Well, because, come on now, Jake's an offensive guy. Coach Bueller loves offense. And so if you decide to take the wind, then you're going to be kicking off twice. So I get it. I was an offensive guy. I'd always take the ball, but there's no question. It's easy to make decisions after the fact. I think at the time, I would certainly have taken the ball. The way it played out, maybe didn't work so well because you had 3 and outs, great field position for Seaman. They score all 3 times. So I'll give him a little bit of a break. But I think it's typical. You don't want to give the other team the ball both halves to start the half. So I get that. And I was going to ask you, I was thinking that because, I had the chance to watch Seaman against Manhattan in that win at Pierce Field a few weeks back, and Pringle is really good. Is he one of the best kickers you've seen?
He is one of the best, definitely an all-city, all-league candidate. Yeah, he and Grant Snowden from Manhattan, who we also saw in that game, 2 of the very best, as Pringle now boots it away. It's a short kick that bounces just past the 15-yard line. The ball is live on the return. Nearly a disaster for Washburn Rural. Landon McEwen kind of ran past the kick after it just bounced straight in the air. He couldn't field it cleanly and then gets popped when he finally picks it up at the 14-yard line. First down and 10 for the Junior Blues from there, trailing by 31.
Yeah, so nice effort, though, by Rural to come out. I mean, they're winning this half 14-10, so that's a positive. You kind of came back and kind of righted the ship a little bit. Where Seaman just played really well. I mean, that first half was a clinic offensively and defensively. Rural had no chance offensively to do anything. Carlgren under duress the entire time, but they played much better in the second half offensively.
And Carlgren now out of the game. The backup quarterback is in for Washburn Rural. It's Aiden Bolesky, 6'1", 170-pound sophomore. He hands it off to Joe Clark on the first play of the drive, and now we've got a timeout called on the field with 2 minutes and 52 seconds to play. It was a gain of 2 on the first down carry by Clark.
So Carlgren under duress. He's hoping the next time he tees it up in the Rural uniform, he's got a little bit more time to make some hay. He really, when he had time, he had the nice 38-yarder to Bolin. He had the 25-yard touchdown pass to Saverini. And those were probably, Brendan, he threw it 7 times, went 4 of 7, threw 2 picks, one the touchdown by Mills. In that first half for the 5 scores, 2 rushing touchdowns by Zephyr Johns, 2 touchdown passes by Reed Cowan. But Carver just had no time, but he kept fighting. He ended up with 15 carries for 35 yards, had a 15-yard touchdown run, had the 25-yard touchdown pass, 4 of 7, 71 yards. But, boy, he just didn't have much opportunity. And most of those yards rushing, Brendan, 35 yards rushing. How many would you say of those 35 yards after contact?
Yeah, he was sacked multiple times, too, which will knock off a few yards.
Exactly.
Second down and 8 for Washburn Rural. Ball on the near left hash. 2:52 to play. Junior Blues down by 31 points against Seaman. The Vikings will improve to 7-1 on the season and the number 1 seed in the Class 5A East playoffs. As Bolesky gets ready for the snap, takes it, will hand it off to Clark, who runs up the middle, gets wrapped up around the shin, and brought down for another short gain. Tackle made that time for Seaman by Bryson Vaughter, younger brother of Braden Vaughter, former quarterback for Glen O'Neill's Vikings. 3rd down and long coming up for Washburn Rural. They'll mark it officially at about a 3rd down and 6 to go from the 18-yard line. That was another 2-yard gain on the ground by Clark. Bolesky waits, 3 wide receivers to the wide side right. Takes the snap, 3-step drop, looking, now evading to the right, stumbles a little bit, stays on his feet, now he goes down at the 11-yard line. Bolesky had a man right on top of him. It was Caden Ireland, the linebacker, who came up, and then will get credit for the tackle as Bolesky goes down for a loss of 7.
Yeah, he got out of the pocket. I watched him warm up. Bolesky, just a sophomore, 6'1", 170-pound sophomore. Throws it nice, has really nice form on the sideline. Not going to get any opportunities really too much this year because Carlgren's the guy, the senior, who's a great baseball pitcher. But it looks like Bolesky's got some talent there. He just the turf kind of tackled him a little bit.
Fredrickson on to punt, fields the snap cleanly this time, puts his right foot into it. A spiraling kick. And a fair catch called for the 41. Muffed punt recovered by Rural. It's Landon McEwen who recovers the punt, and he's going to take it all the way to the house. Touchdown, Washburn Rural. However, you are not actually allowed to advance a muff. So all the celebration on the sideline for Rural from the cheerleaders and everyone.
Well, that's good. You need some excitement if you're Washburn Rural. That was a cool play.
And a smart play by Landon McEwen, because if they let you do it, you might as well run to the end zone. But instead, it will just be junior blue ball back at their own 44-yard line.
But you got to appreciate McEwen's effort. Nice job.
Yeah,
and a really pretty nice punt, too, out of the end zone, into the wind. Good job by Rural.
Minute 14 to play in a 31-point game. And some scores from around the state tonight that will knock Washburn Rural down in the standings in 6A West a little bit as we start the playoffs next week. Both Dodge City and Garden City with blowout leads in their games against Ulysses and Great Bend, respectively. We'll get to that in our post-game show coming up in just a few minutes. But right now, with the clock winding from a minute 10 in a 31-point game, Bolesky back onto the field with a 1st and 10. Looking down the left sideline, throws deep for Robbie Bolin, and Bolin essentially gets boxed out and has to play defensive back on the play. It falls incomplete. Aiden Poulter in coverage as the underthrow by Aiden Bolesky falls short after the tip.
Yeah, but that was a good job by the sophomore quarterback. He evaded the rush, stood up, threw a perfect pass, and he kind of back shoulder threw it is what he did. That was great coverage by Seaman. Bolin tried to come back to it, but couldn't get past the defender. Ball knocked down. But Bolesky, a nice arm there. Isn't it crazy when you think about it that Rural's in the West? I think they're a little closer to the Missouri border than they are the Colorado border. How far is the Colorado border from here?
Several hundred miles.
You've driven it plenty of times, haven't you?
Yes, I made that trip. A trip for a loss of about a half a yard on the 2nd down carry by Washburn Rural, as Clark gets barely back to the line of scrimmage, nose the ball back to the 45. We're down to 45 seconds on the game clock, which is only 11 seconds behind the play clock, as Bolesky waits for the signal for what could be the final snap of the ball game. He's got Clark in the backfield, standing 1 step to his left, 3 receivers, one of which is an H-back to the right, 1 to the left. Bolesky, short drop, looking left, pressure comes, throws sidearm back across the middle of the field. He completes the Bolin, who breaks a tackle at the 40, races up to the 30. Bolin cuts back at the 20-yard line, fights his way all the way down near the 10 on the far right sideline with 12 seconds to play. Robbie Bolin not giving up here late with Washburn Rural down 4 scores. Gets all the way down to the 10 for a gigantic gain of 46 yards.
Yeah, good throw. Good job by Bolesky in the pocket, too, for the sophomore. Kind of shuffled along when he got a little pressure, he shuffled a little bit. And Bolin, I thought he was going to run a fade just down the sideline. Instead, he started, and then he took it right across the middle. Bolesky, a little Mahomes-like, a little sidearm throw right on the money. Beautiful throw, and then Bolin did the rest. Nice job by the junior blue young sophomore quarterback and the junior receiver in Robbie Bolin.
You and I have the same mind on the comparison with that throw. Bolesky rolling left.
That was a fastball, too. Yeah, beautiful.
Sidearm action back to the right, and it turns into a 46-yard gain. Robbie Bolin having another big night tonight with these big catches today. He's up over 600 yards on the season. There's 12 seconds left in our final regular season game of the year here in Topeka. Seaman with a 45-14 win. So the result here is academic, but Washburn Rural trying to tack on a few more points before we hit the final horn.
Yeah, fourth catch for Bolin for 92 yards. Had a 38-yard reception this half and the 46-yarder right there.
Bolesky behind center, 2x2 wide receiver set. One running back in the backfield. Bolesky looks right. Lofts for the end zone. It's thrown to the corner and out of bounds, incomplete. A little short corner fade throw by Bolesky, but it's over the head of his target.
I think he caught it, but he was out of bounds. The receiver gave the ball right back to the official.
I think that was McEwen who was targeted on that play.
But I think the ball was just a little wide. He caught it on the white, not in the blue of the end zone.
The right side of the field where McEwen still is, that is the short side. Two receivers to the wide side left, Bolin and Williams, the latter in the slot with 8 seconds on the clock. Bolesky on the far right hash, takes the snap. Now he's looking left. Looking. Scrambles back to the right, gets through a hole. He's going to run, heads to the sideline, and he is knocked out of bounds with a single second on the clock. He comes up just shy of the goal line, but inside the 5. Call it the 3-yard line, so a rush of 7. With one play left for Washburn Rural here in the regular season.
Yeah, there's got to be some advantage playing at home. Instead of the clock running out, you get one more snap. See if you get on the scoreboard here on the final play of the game.
Two receivers and a tight end left. Bolesky takes it. Looking in that direction. Throws to the goal line. Touchdown! Lucas Hanks, the H-back with the catch right on the goal line. That cuts it down to 45-20 as we hit triple zeros on the clock.
And they used Bolin wide left and Williams left. They both came across the middle, and then the tight end Hanks just rolled to the flat. Wide open. Bolesky right on the money. He goes 2 of 4 in his little short time here. A 46-yard completion, and then capped that drive with a 3-yard touchdown pass to Hanks.
Takes the final 3 minutes and 3 seconds off the clock as Giles Fredrickson takes the field for the extra point. Gets ready. Snap is good. So is the hold. It's a low line drive kick, but he gets it through the uprights. That will make our final score tonight in Southwest Topeka, 45 for Seaman and 21 for Washburn Rural. The Seaman Vikings improved to 7-1 on the season, the number 1 seed in the Class 5A East playoffs, the first time they have been a top seed in the Glenn O'Neill era. Meanwhile, Washburn Rural falls to 3-5 overall this year. They will end up on the road for their first playoff game in Class 6A coming up next week. We should also note Seaman, they're not going to play next week. With the number 1 seed, they are going to get a bye to the second round of the 5A playoffs. And with the end of regulation, we'll head to our post-game show. And when we come back in 60 seconds, we'll have a scoring recap from tonight's game. We'll get a statistical